Welcome to the booth. It's Beej here on Play It Forward on Loading Ready Run's twitch.tv channel. I hear air. I keep thinking it's because the fan is on, and I didn't actually run the microphone thing before we went live. So we're just going to modify the position of the microphone slightly so it points right at me. This is the thing about these long shotgun mics, is that they need to be pointed at you in order to actually... That's weird though, because like when I look at it with a different eye, I can't tell if it's pointed right at me or just off center of me. Oh, it's so weird. Switching between eyes awfully fast. I'm going to assume that's correct. And I'm going to also assume that the mic is loud enough. So good to see everybody. Thank you for showing up. As you can tell from the music, we are playing Shadowrun Hong Kong for the second time. There's more to be played. Let's just go right ahead and jump right into the scene here. And I think the right corner was a good place for me to be in this spot, as opposed to in this spot over here. That's super weird, it being reversed and all. Let's just get right in and give her a go. I'm really glad you guys... Actually, no. You know what? Let's start with the thing. Thank you so much for showing up today. We were playing this for about 4 hours last night, so if you missed that, go watch the VOD eventually when it gets up, and you'll be able to... But we're starting from all the kind of prologue-y stuff is all done. What else do I want to talk about? Streams are brought to you by you, thanks to your support over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, Map points out that that all the Shadowrun games are currently 75% off on Steam right now, so you can get this game for $5 United States dollars. That is. So yeah, if you're into Shadowrun, everyone says this game itself is the best of the more recent ones by Harebrained Schemes. Even then, I really enjoyed Shadowrun Returns, which is the first one they made. I would just say play them in order, because people have said the Shadowrun Returns was not great, but I'm like, I didn't feel that way at all. But hey, play that. If you like that, then, you know, go play Dragonfall next, because Dragonfall was rad, and I did a whole playthrough of it on Beej's backlog. And I like this so far, and I hope it's going to be even better. And let's talk about what I'm drinking today. I don't have any tea in the fridge. I have to make more tea. I should have made some last night. So instead, I'm drinking calamansi juice, which is mostly see-through, in this beautiful, see-through steel can. Thank you to ZJ who brought us that at Magic Fest. And a heads up, if you are interested in stuff that we sell, well, we got a whole bunch of new stuff. Not a whole bunch. We got some new stuff in the store. Their Lure hoodies are in 5XL now, so if you're feeling you want a hoodie, go check that out. Stored at loadingreadyrun.com. We have 2 new dice bags. The Phases dice bag with the scrub phases and the phases on alternate sides of the dice bag. And we also have a burlap-looking luck sack, just like the emote that we have here. You can now get yourself a dice bag luck sack. Big clover on the front of it. And in general, things like, what else? The Gundam Out playmats have an orange backing on them now, which looks super sweet. And the Diagram 2.0 playmats have a cyan backing on them, which also looks super sweet. Go check that stuff out. See if you're interested in buying stuff. Every time you guys buy stuff, and every time you support us on Patreon, every time you subscribe and give bits and all that kind of stuff, however money reaches us thanks to you, that is helping keep us employed. So let's move on to load the game. The most recent one would, of course, would have been 10 o'clock at night. Jesus, 10 o'clock at night. Ugh. All right. So we slept. We are in Heoi again. We left the walled city. We went to Kylie Cheng already, and she's like, just go have some goddamn sleep. And now we have to come back and get rolling on what we're supposed to do for her. Which I have a feeling is going to be, hey, you're going to do some work for us, earn some nuyen, and get better abilities, and earn more karma, and upgrade your what you can do, and we're like, nice. So, to catch you up, if you haven't seen what's going on here, you could probably just you could even start today if this is the first thing anyway, because you missed some of the beginnings stuff. But anyway, I am playing an elf shaman because I want to go max charisma. That's the idea. We're going to get charisma up to 12. I'm going to get all the etiquettes. I'm going to try to do all the talking to get past stuff that would probably be a problem, but also then hopefully unlock more of other things that are going on. I have no idea if that's going to be a good thing or not. In fact, I haven't even spent... I have 12 karma that I've recently earned. And while I could burn some of that, I need 15 to get even new etiquette out of that. So it's like we're not going to do that just yet. Kind of need to. If I can get 3 more, then I can get up to this. I can choose a new etiquette. But of course, even if I do that, I don't know what the new one is I'm going to need. And I already have the 3 etiquettes that I got and effed up because I did not pick. I should have just... Somebody had suggested in chat last night, hang on to your karma if this is what you're doing. Hang on to your karma and wait until you're faced with the choice. And I'm like, well, I guess that's an option. I can just then immediately pick the one that's going to help me get past that point. Nothing has broken for me yet, though. Other than I think maybe I could have gotten, I could have saved this this dude's money. I wish I could have just given him some money, but well, whatever. So, let's roll on. I've already talked to Duncan. Duncan is following me along. I don't think I need to go upstairs because I think everyone else has already gone to do the thing that they need to do. I have no idea why I'm touching the keyboard because the game is largely driven by the mouse. Gobbett's not in her rat hole, and Isabel's not in her cool area that she hangs out in. God, yeah, I love the art. Oh. One thing I do remember about what they mentioned about Hong Kong is that in Dragonfall, they improved how you do decking, like in the Matrix. In Hong Kong, they came up with an advanced system that makes it even better, I guess. And I'm just kind of like, that's real cool. And yet I didn't pick a decker, so you're gonna probably see me run Isabel an awful lot because I do want to have the opportunities to play the decking minigame stuff. So hey. Welcome! Got a Plaid Posse doing a raid already, I guess, because I'm the only one who's going to be streaming at 6 o'clock at night on a Sunday, I guess. So, welcome to the Plaid Posse. Thanks, Ben. Happy to see you here. And happy to see everybody else who showed up to hang out. We're playing Shadowrun Hong Kong. He's probably already explained that to you. And this is the second of the sessions, so you're not too far behind. If you want to hang out and see what's happened, that's great. The VOD will be going up eventually of the first session, and it's 4 hours long. So I'm sorry. All right, let's get on with the story. Hi.
Your first VOD should be up tomorrow.
Wow,
on YouTube.
That's awesome. Thank you.
It doesn't get to go up today because PUBG got to go up today.
That's fine. That's how things are.
I have to go.
Bye-bye.
Bye, chat.
All right. Kindly's place reeks of stale cigar smoke and fresh urine. I should probably point out, I'm going to read. I'm going to try to enunciate as much as I can, but I'm not going to do voices, and I'm going to try to go reasonably fast. So that's just strap in for that. We're not doing voices because if I'm going to do this much talking, I don't want to just blow up my voice. And plus, there's like dozens of characters. I would never be able to change up the voices. But yeah, if you want to listen to this in your background, you can do that too. Let's start again. Kindly's place reeks of stale cigar smoke and fresh urine. The clicking of mahjong tiles is strangely absent. In its place is a low murmur of laughter and an air of eager anticipation. All eyes are focused on the groaning figure kneeling bloody and bound at the feet of Kindly Chang. Okay, just accept that that's what's going on, I think. She beckons to him with her finger, and he struggles towards her, the loud rustling of the plastic tarp crackling under his knees as he moves. His pants are wet with fear. An acetylene torch lies on the table at Cheng's right hand. Okay, so yeah, just accept that this is what's going on. Kindly Chang ignores the scene. She behaves as if all is right in the world. How did you sleep, my little ones? I really like, for me, not too well, Auntie Chang, I had a bad dream. I like that. God, I really like that. Yeah, that's what we're doing. You register a brief hesitation before she responds. You poor darling, perhaps it's the food here. I understand it can be a bit too spicy for outsiders. Still, a bad dream is a better way to spend the night than getting a bullet in the ear while you sleep. She flicks a mahjong tile at the kneeling man's head. Wouldn't you agree, shitbird? She indicates the kneeling man with an incline of her nose. Shitbird here is a plainclothes cop. He snuck into the area last night while you were sleeping, hoping to find you and kill you before his competition got to you first. My men found him outside the trawler you were sleeping on. They saw to it that your rest was undisturbed and that your location remained a mystery. Oh, okay. She nods her head back towards the pillar of meat standing behind her. You can thank Mr. Bao for that. I will just straight up thank him. Because why not? Thank you for guaranteeing our safety, Mr. Bao. Bao inclines his head 1/4 of an inch. She addresses the bloody man on his knees. Now, shitbird, tell my friends here what you told me. I guess, okay, that's a thing. That's her, like, normally it'd be like, I wouldn't let this guy talk, but it's kind of like, I'm tired of talking. It's more fun narratively, too, but yeah, anyway. HKPF officer. I don't know anything, I swear. We just got the orders in last night. He pushes his head towards you and Wu from the floor, struggling to keep his balance. Somebody high up wants these two dead. The whole department is on it. I don't know anything else. Kindly Chang says, someone from high up? The old woman lifts her foot, taps his chin with the toe of her shoe. How high? The cop looks up at her, looks around the room filled with triad soldiers. One of them opens his coat and shows the cop something inside. Ooh, lewd. He closes it slowly and winks. The cop drops his head to his chest. All the way up. It's someone on the council. Someone on the executive council wants these two dead? Chang spits on him with a sneer. Fuck your ancestors to the 18th generation. Give me the truth. The cop wears the spittle. He never lifts his head. Whoa. It's the truth, madam, I swear it. Whoever it was labeled them as terrorists were to terminate with extreme prejudice. Kindly Chang shuffles closer to the kneeling cop, reaches down and strokes his head with her hand. Then she slowly digs her fingers into his scalp. She pulls back hard until his chin points high. The triad boss leans in close and searches his eyes with her own. Now keep in mind, Kindly Chang is not like the boss of the triad. She is what they call a straw sandal. She's an intermediary for the Yellow Lotus, I believe it is what they call it. So, yeah. That's all he's got. She lets go of his head and smooths his buzz-cut hair with her hand. For whatever reason, last night someone got on the executive council of the Free Enterprise Zone. For whatever reason, last night someone on the executive council of the Free Enterprise Zone ordered the Hong Kong police force to kill two nobodies from Seattle. I find that fascinating, don't you? That's weird. Corporations just order the cops to kill people here? Yes, but why they need to label us international terrorists? Oh, the drop of the tile. It's good. Now, right, I should again remind everybody, this is my first playthrough. This is a casual playthrough. And while I appreciate people in the chat, I appreciate people in the chat in general. Reminder, no spoilers. I'm not trying to play an ideal run. I'm trying to play the run that I want to play. So I guess I would appreciate no backseat driving, I guess, because that makes me second guess whether what I want to do is actually a good idea or not. I wanted to save this game for myself and not play it on stream, and I never got around to it, because I wanted to just kind of feel that feeling of I'm doing this myself. Whatever I do is however I play. I generally don't replay games either. So I just wanted to see how this happens for me. So I appreciate people wanting to be involved in that way. I would also, though, ask, please do not do that. Otherwise, I mean, I guess I could just turn the chat off, but I don't want to do that. My instinct was to go with number 1, so let's do that. Kindly Ching smiles knowingly. Corruption is so ingrained in our society that we don't even see it as corruption. If a street vendor can get out of a sanitary citation by buying a cop a cup of tea for 5 million, imagine what a megacorp can do. Gobbet. Seattle isn't like Hong Kong. There, the megacorps control the government. Here, the corps are the government. That's a very fine line, huh? Isabel. The exec council is chosen by the corporate board of governors. They're basically the legislative and executive branches of the Hong Kong government in one tiny package. 8 people call all the shots. Neat and efficient. It kind of feels a little like City of London-ish, right? Where it's like, we're the corporate board of governors. It's like, this whole city's job, this whole Hong Kong, the country's job, is to make money. It's to make things and make money. So what do? The corporations run things. Kindly Cheng steps back from the cop and lights one of her thin black cigars. For the wage slaves and the civilian sheep, the corporations are a pantheon of gods who wield absolute power. She looks around the room, but not for us. The triad woman takes a long pull from her cigar and taps her ash on the kneeling cop's head. Who else knows about my guest's visit to Hayway, shitbird? The officer. No one, madam. I hadn't called it in yet. I wanted the kill for myself. No one knows they're here. I swear it. Ah. Kindly turns to her enforcer. Mr. Bao? Bao fiddles with his PDA in his meaty hands. He's telling the truth. With the PDA. No outgoing calls on his PDA. Okay. Kindly Cheng. Very good. Thank you, Bao. She nods at the cop. Thank you for your honesty. In one smooth motion, Strangler Bao produces a silenced pistol, fires at once the policeman's head, and replaces it in his jacket. His face never changes expression. All right. I mean, at this point, I shouldn't be surprised. Like, it shouldn't be, what the hell, that was a cop. I kind of feel like I see what's going on here. I feel like the more Rye... Oh, but then again, Duncan might be like, that was a cop, but he also knows the trouble he's in. It looks like the trials can be just as efficient, I think, is kind of a way to get through that. Kindly Cheng takes a drag on her cigar. Yes, my darling. She balances her cigar in her shot glass, picks up some mahjong tiles, and begins playing with them absently. It is clear our friend Raymond Black was up to something involving the walled city, something having to do with prosperity. And this executive council member wanted Raymond dead for it. She stacks her tiles one by one. Click, clack. Kindly Chang, now they want you dead for it too. Click. This plastic-faced man may show up on your door one day, too. She knocks the pile over and it clatters to the table loudly. I have a proposal for you, my sweets. A smile lights up her dead black eyes. Work for me. With Nightjar and Gutshot dead, I find myself with 2 job openings. Fill them. I have need of deniable assets here. Players unaffiliated with the triads who can take care of some of the more unsavory business needs about town. You've proven yourselves resourceful, and you have no existing connections here. That can be a positive in this line of work. Ah, yeah. This is the establishment of us becoming Shadowrunners. Yeah, okay. Wu grunts, his jaw tightens, but he stays quiet. Kindly. In exchange, I will keep you safe from pests like this one. She nods at the body on the floor. She nods at the body on the floor. The pool of blood on the plastic wrap continues to widen. You'll have safe harbor here in my town and a steady source of income. She picks up a handful of towels again. And while you dip your toe into the waters of corporate espionage, organized crime, and clandestine mercenary actions, I will employ my network to find the plastic-faced man and gather information about Raymond Black. If you missed last night, there was a plastic-faced man. You'll have to catch up later. Where he's been, who he's talked to, who stood to gain from his death, what this prosperity could be. Also, for people who are unaware of what calamansi juice is, this green thing, you see this green fruit? See the yellow fruit? That has a green rind that is hard to tell from there. But that little fruit apparently is the size of a grape. And it's a citrus, and it's sweet like a mandarin orange or a clementine or however you want to put that. But it also has the bitterness of the pith on the back end, and it's a really interesting juice. If you've never tried it, you should totally go do that. All right. Just what's in it for you? Besides the money and the benefits of helping others in my community, I need to learn who killed one of my clients and then ordered the cops to execute my team of Shadowrunners. Her voice drops and she becomes deadly serious. This is a brazen disregard of my power. Face dictates it must be confronted or I stand to lose everything. Oh, yeah. Face. How would the arrangement work? Maybe? Yeah, Hong Kong's kind of a weird amalgam of people, right? It's definitely not a melting pot, I don't think, but it is definitely a people, like, in our time, or at least when Shadowrun was made and when Hong Kong was established, I feel like that was definitely it's British and Chinese, and people from all over the world, just kind of ending up here to do business here. And so that feels like being a Westerner here, that kind of a dumb question, I think, because I think there's still lots of people who are not native-born Hong Kong who live in Hong Kong, even at this time still, I would assume. Especially because there's elves and there's trolls and orcs and dwarves. All right, how would the arrangement work? Find the right jobs for people with your talents. You do what our clients cannot do for themselves. I take a finder's fee and a small percentage of your earnings. You make a lot of nuyen very quickly. It's all very civilized. She leans in. Work with me. Allow me to help you make money. Let my network work for you and help you find out what you've gotten yourselves into. Without my help, you won't last a day out there. You're completely out of your depth, I'm afraid. You need a partner. Kindly Cheng will be your partner. Wu's hands go to his hips. He drops his head and shakes it a little confused. I gotta wrap my brain around this, Adam. Things are moving fast. There's a lot to process. Oh yeah, if you're new, you probably missed what we named our character. It's Beej, except it needed a full name, and everyone thought it'd be very funny if we added that as the full name. So, there you go. Come out of that. Third one. Come on, Wu, you and me on the streets together again. That seems a little more lighthearted. Duncan's having a real hard time with all of this. I think I tried to need to lead him along a little bit more, though. This gives us freedom to find out what happened to Ray. I know, I get it. I just gotta reconcile this whole... He grips the back of his neck, squeezes hard, rips his hand away. Ah, fuck it, I'm not a cop anymore. That guy's dead. He nods, decision's made. I'm in. What about you? Oh, do I say that out loud? I think Ray's still alive, too. Yeah, I think I do. Duncan feels that way. I'm inclined to feel that way because why not? Because it's like, that would help. Raymond is alive, I'm sure of it. So I'll run the shadows as long as Auntie Cheng keeps up her end of the bargain and helps us figure out what really happened to him. Then I'm going to find my father. Kindly Cheng, then it's done. Heoi is now open to you. She gestures to her lieutenant, who raises a finger to her ear and whispers into her sleeve. First order of business. Adam Savadan and Duncan Wu don't exist anymore. You'll need street names. Wu sighs. Yeah, okay, I'll think of something. Oh, it's gonna be gun show. Let it be gun show. Gobbet rubs her cheek against her rats. A glint in her eye. I think we've already got you covered, gun show. She turns to Isabel. Fits, doesn't it? Isabel, indeed. Duncan, I knew that was gonna stick. Kindly Chang, it has stuck. Gobbet Isabel will handle this the same way we did with all your previous work. She didn't say Nightjar. All the jobs I lent for you will be sent to your computer on the squat boat. She's pointing at you. Yeah. No, I got it. Duncan, why him? Kindly. It's a simple process of elimination. She points to her little decker. Isabel isn't the leader type. Isabel, you got that right. Kindly Chang moves her finger to the orc girl. As for Gobbet, let's just say Gobbet doesn't have a head for business. Gobbet, not my thing. Kindly Chang. Then she rests her finger on Wu. And then there's Gun Show. The jury's out on Mr. Gun Show. Duncan, meaning? Kindly's response is direct, straightforward. Meaning there's a lot going on with... Meaning there's a lot going on within that head of yours right now, and I'm not sure I can trust you. Gun show will be fine. Trust me. Kindly Chang makes eye contact with you and holds it. She keeps it steady for a long time. Wu doesn't notice. Don't worry, I'll be cool, Adam. Yeah. Adam Savadan doesn't exist anymore. Call me Beach. Clip that for him. He's gonna hate that. Wu shakes his head, eyebrows raised. Gonna be weird calling you Beach again. Haven't called you that since we were kids. Gobbet looks from Isabel to Wu to you. I guess this is our new crew. The rat on her shoulder scurries to the top of her head for a better view. Welcome to the shadows, Beach. Everyone just F's off. Kindly regards you coldly and lifts one hand and dismisses wave. As much as I love your company, I have business to attend to. Clear the hell out of here and go get settled in. You betcha. Let's go do that. Oh, crew advancement. There we go, because I have a crew now. As you lead your team through the shadows, your companions will continue to develop and learn new combat skills. Clicking the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen will open the crew advancement menu. When this icon is highlighted, one or more of your companions is eligible to learn a new combat skill. I've read that, so now I understand that. At each advancement level, you may choose one or two possible combat skills for each of your runners. Choose wisely. Right, this is like how in XCOM and in the previous Dragonfall, you can say, hey, this person can branch off in a different direction if I want them to. So, Gobbet, as a rat shaman, I could choose either one of these, apparently. I feel like, as a rat shaman, I feel like it would be better for her to have better spirit control. We'll come back to that in a second. Duncan, lethal force. Duncan gains an assault rifle ability that fires a single shot of incendiary ammo, does additional 2 damage, and pierces up to 2 armor, cost 1 AP, cooldown 2. That's not bad, 1 AP to do that. Underslung beanbag. Duncan gains a rifle ability, does 2 AP damage, and imbalances targets, making them easier to hit on subsequent attacks. This cannot do it for critical damage, cost 1 AP, cooldown 2. Okay, so we have a cooldown 2, 1 AP. Being able to reduce AP is not bad. I feel like that's a lot of fun. To be like, you know what I can do is I can just, one of these guys, stop them from doing things. As opposed to this, which does a little more damage, pierces up to 2 armor, which is kind of nice. Yeah. That's a good point. ReaxCon says if Duncan's going before them, like if we get ambushed. Oh yeah, reducing AP can stun people. That's also a good point. All right, let's have a look at Isabel. Oh, well. Oh, remote mines? Oh, but a decker and does decking. Isabel gains the Tar Blaster 1.0 program and an upgraded version of Plaster. This also sticks enemies in place for 1 round. Oh, I think getting more of this is really good too. I want her to deck better. I want everyone to kind of live up to the things that they do, that they're kind of like supposed to be doing. So I think I want to pick Espionage. I think I want Gobbet to shaman the hell out of stuff. I don't think I necessarily have to like getting better range combat is not bad either. She's gonna spend more time shooting stuff overall, but I like the idea of she can summon a spirit and she's got first 2 rounds and doesn't have to worry about them at all. It's not bad. Yeah, I think I want crowd control. I am gonna play everybody really kind of more like secondary skills. I think is like that kind of maybe that concentration, right? Like, thank you. Giving them a little wider whatever. Well, giving most of them a little wider whatever. Gobbet getting concentration on being better at spirit control. Maybe that isn't that important. Oh, that's kind of amazing. This doesn't set me on a path because I think when you go to level 3, you get a chance to go back to territoriality if you want to. You can kind of move back and forth. So if you would rather have X or you'd rather have Y, it's like you can always do that. You can always kind of augment skills in different on different paths. You're not creating a tree and you're like, I'm stuck on that tree. So and somehow I just kind of feel like turning Gobbet into somebody who just now shoots a lot of stuff, but given like all of these like the spells and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, I'd rather try to keep her on. She's getting a lot of extra things though. Maybe having a little extra ranged combat is not a bad idea because there's going to be so many other things she can do spell wise. But I really like that spirit control thing. All right, we're going to do spirit control. Confirm. All right, and those are now done. Make that go away. And now we go. She did say go back to the boat. I guess that would help me get on with things. Oh, wait, I can talk to a person. I hope everyone heard the meow. I did. Jin! Or Geen, probably, because he has silver hair. As you approach the small landing, you see 3 men, 2 elders, and a younger man hunched over a go board. The juxtaposition of the 2 white-haired, white-bearded men and the black-haired man is almost comical. Together, the 3 resemble the small black and white stones of their game. Despite the variety of ambient distractions, the 3 men, especially the fucking rain, the 3 men remain acutely focused on the game. One of the elders, a round-faced man with a beatific smile, carefully picks up a black stone and places it on the board. His opponent snorts, and a small smile flashes across his long face. Almost carelessly, he snatches a white stone and deposits it on the board. The smiling man groans, and the long-faced one proceeds to collect several black pieces off the board. Shoo, you got me there, Geen. He laughs, a pleasant full sound. As it trails off, he spots you watching the game. A broad smile brightens his cheeks. Why, hello there, young man. Something you need? Geen, the long-faced man, gives you a cursory look and continues to collect black stones. Just a gawker shoe. It's your turn. Yeah, why not? Let's talk. Shu nods. I can use a short break. How about you, Geen? Geen sighs, shoulders slumping forward. After a moment of scowling, he reluctantly speaks. Fine, a short break. The two elders turn towards the younger man. He looks to be in his early 30s, but it's difficult to tell. The skin on his face is smooth and supple, with only the suggestions of creases at the eye, mouth, and forehead, but small gestures, a blink, a flare of his nostrils, briefly reveal the lines of his face. The man's eyes rise from the go board and study the elders. He nods. Let's just get right into my fucking dreams. You guys want to talk about dreams? The three men exchange looks. Shu turns to you. What a coincidence. Wasn't but an hour ago we were all discussing that very thing. My dreams? Wow. I'm getting around. We have been having bad dreams, every one of us. Oh, okay, fine. That's... The third option's real weird. I think we're going to go interesting you mind sharing. Geen shakes his hand across his arms. What makes you think we'd be comfortable sharing our dreams with a complete stranger? Seems like a good way to get ourselves in trouble, especially with what you kids can do with that matrix you all love so much. Turns his head, pretends to spit. Heh. Shu waves his hand dismissively at Geen. Don't mind him. He's always been a poor sport. But he raises a good point. Some of our dreams contain information best left private, just as yours do, I'm sure. Having just met, how can we be sure that you'll respect our personal information? Well, I'm going to sign an NDA. Lao, I'll tell you. The younger man's voice cuts through the din like a razor, and the elders fall silent. He turns to you and he locks his eyes, dark orbs that burn with piercing scrutiny, onto yours. He nods and returns his gaze to the go board. I believe you're trustworthy. Please, Beej, make yourself comfortable. I'll share my dream with you. I appreciate it. Go ahead. He exhales slowly, then begins speaking. I dreamed of a long, dingy hall. When faced with such a thing, one generally walks its length, so I lifted my right foot and placed it in front of me. But upon taking that first step, I found myself instead drawn down an alleyway to my left. It wasn't there before, this alley. It appeared only as I began to walk. As I moved down the alley, I found myself surrounded by friends and loved ones. They all stood there, silently watching me with smiles on their faces, and as I passed each one of them, they fell to the ground in my wake, dropping like puppets with severed strings. Somehow, I knew that if I followed this road to the end, I could have everything I'd ever dreamed of, but I woke before I could reach it. He folds his hands in his lap. Shu. There's a moment of silence before Shu speaks up, the rosiness in his cheeks having drained away. I, too, saw the long hall. My own experience was different, however. The hall was far off in the distance, and I was looking down at it from a strange angle, as though I was perched on a wall high above. He pauses and looks at you. You know, young man, Beej, you look very much like the person I saw walking that hall. He moved steadily down the path, walking at an even pace, and just behind him a great and terrible shadow followed. Of course, I didn't have the best view up there on that wall, or wherever I was. It could have been anyone. Perhaps this old mind of mine is seeing your face now and misremembering the dream. He lets out a chuckle, and a small flush of red returns to his cheeks. He looks over at Geen. All right, Geen, go ahead. Geen broods in his corner, arms crossed and jaw set. I've changed my mind. I don't want to share my dream. Shu. Nonsense! Master Lao and I have both told him our dreams. And now it's your turn. Master Lao, huh? Geen sticks out his lower lip. No. Okay, so it's fine. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, is one thing. But then saying, I don't want to force you to do anything. The way you could read it is, I don't want to force you to do anything. Number one. He holds his palm up toward you and looks at Shu. See? Straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have to. Lao, Geen. Lao's voice is firm but soft. This is important. Geen's mouth opens and closes like a gasping fish, but as he looks at Lao, his body relaxes and a sadness seems to take hold of his features. All right. But don't you go repeating any of this, you hear me? Weird thing I noticed, actually. I am a fan of all right as two words. I don't like all right as one word. I like all right when I see it in text. I've seen it both ways now in this conversation. It's really unusual. I wouldn't think that I would see that, but Geen takes in a deep breath and slowly releases it, folds his hands in his lap. My dream began as a nightmare. I dreamed of the failures and mistakes that I've made throughout my life, the people I've let down, the competitors I've crushed, the wife who died in hospice without me. I dreamed of the family that I abandoned. A change comes over him, his eyes brighten, and he continues energetically. But then I dreamed of the walled city. I stood before it, and its door opened to me, and when I passed inside, all of my guilt fell away. It was as though the city had absolved me, had washed away my guilt, and I remember feeling happy. As his remembrance ends, so does his lightened mood. His face shrinks into a pout, and he stares grumpily at the ground. There, I did it. You happy? Loud nods slowly. Thank you, Geen. All said and done, this is pretty boring, but who knows, this might be helpful later on. No, it's just you have my thanks too. Yeah. Now, can we change the subject? My ulcer's acting up. I'm guessing you've been around these parts longer than I have. Is this sort of thing normal? No, let's do that. If it were normal, we wouldn't be huddled around discussing them in whispers now, would we? Shu, enough of that, Geen. Beach here asked in earnest for our advice. He deserves a proper response. Shu gives you a gentle smile. Please forgive our friend. Bitter years have left him suspicious of others. The answer to your question is no. Upsetting dreams have never been uncommon in Heioi, but these recent visitations have been different. They've been darker, more vivid, stronger than normal dreams. Last night I felt consumed by the sense that something was coming. While my friends here felt a sense of relief and excitement as their dreams ended, I felt as though I was sitting on the precipice of some vast and terrible chasm with the void yawning beneath my feet. Suddenly his cheeks flush. He blinks twice and looks away. But perhaps these are just the ramblings of an old man. Please forgive me. He scratches his nose, embarrassed. Lao, you speak wisely, Shu. It is foolish to embrace a thing that you do not understand. What Geen and I saw in our dreams was alluring, but so is the light to the moth. Your instincts are still strong and sharp, my old friend. It is wise of you to trust them. Shu bows deeply, his eyes to the ground. Thank you. I can only hope these dreams do lead to something beautiful. There's already enough deception in this world. Geen groans loudly. Geen groans loudly. Can we get back to the game now? I don't want to keep you. Of course, Shu. Of course. Stop by again sometime soon, Beej. Your company has been refreshing. Thanks. Good luck with your game. Appreciate it, young man. We'll be seeing you. Hell yeah. A good talkie. Oh, it's Reliable Matthew. Reliable Matthew. Smooth jazz drifts from cheap speakers on the barge. A wide array of worn-down drones litter the battered deck. Most are utility and domestic types, but a few, cordoned off from the others, are low-end security models. Ooh, I didn't pick rigor. The salesman smiles indulgently at you, a tall, lanky human of clear Cantonese ancestry. He's wearing a cheap suit and limply clutching a smelly cigarillo. He adjusts his tie with exaggerated nonchalance, languid, ostentatious, like an American casino promoter. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome to our little floating heaven. You've got a discerning look to you. What brings you to Reliable Matthew's Robot Bazaar? He taps Ash over a bulky cleaning drone beside him. Not waiting for an answer, he continues. Perhaps you're looking for a hexacopter as a guide to Hong Kong, or a little handheld tarantular beauty to brew your tea? Are you calling me beautiful? You know beautiful. Hope I don't offend. I just can't help it. To me, everybody's beautiful, baby. Right back at you, beautiful. Oh, a man after my own heart. You're Reliable Matthew? That's right, Reliable Matthew. Reliable Matthew Shun at your service. He extends his hand to shake. The odors of peach-scented moisturizer and stale tobacco smoke wash over you. How about it? Pleasure to meet you, I think. Always, always. Welcome to our little patch of peace on the river. I think you'll really love Heioi. It's just a fantastic place. Well, now that we've gotten acquainted, maybe I can brighten up your day a bit. What's on your robot list, friend? Combat models. Let's have a look at what he's got. Reliable Matthew looks over his shoulder at the security drone, some heavily cannibalized in the corner of the yard. He turns back to you with a nervous smile. Oh, yeah. Funny you should ask. I've just gotten a Doberman that I'm selling at an incredible bargain price. Shall we take a look? Incredible bargains, huh? They fall off the back of a truck? Are you implying that they're stolen? If so, you're mistaken. He smiles indulgently as if you just said something in an alien language. This merchandise is provided only by trusted suppliers who certify the authenticity and workability of their goods. I don't furnish manufacturer certificates, but all the providers are really top-shelf guys, really beautiful people. Otherwise, I wouldn't carry their drones. Where do these trusted suppliers get them? Where do fans Nan's prawns and soy chips come from? Or Lucy's lovely textiles? Or the electricity for the lights? Reliable Matthew sweeps his arms expansively at the heavens, trailing a stream of blue cigarillo smoke. Where do we get this glorious bluebird sky? It's fucking raining, Matthew. Matthew takes a big breath, staring rapturously at the gray clouds. He looks back down at you. Expression goes flat. He shrugs limply and speaks in monotone for a moment. The smugglers and fences. I don't know where they get their drones. All right. Do they certify the untraceability? Let's find out. Absolutely! He proudly taps the As Technology logo emblazoned on a housework model beside him. The majority of them are genuine knockoffs. Any IDs are stripped, but most were never registered in the first place. Can I be a supplier? Well, it's a very exclusive process. You need to be a member of the community in good standing, have good references, and pass a background check. He smiles widely. His eyes seem to twitch over you nervously. Or, if all you have is the drone, I can work with you. Let's have a look at his models. Ah, yes. Drug Mule. A mobile pharmacy stocked to the brim with drugs and a dart launcher. Cool. Doberman, smoker, cargo carrier. Oh. More armor, I guess. Ballistic nylon street clothes. Pockets to store tools and data sticks. Drone repair kits. Nice. Okay. Ain't my jam. Great! Goodbye, Matthew. Gonna sneeze again. Excuse me. Now we've been over to this area. I know the idea is to, keep moving along. I'm uninterested in keep moving along just yet. Oh, I can go inside here? Why would I ever do that? Drop a save, go inside. Crafty jus. Mild scent, sweet and slightly herbal, is the first thing you notice upon entering the old shop. Its quarters are cramped, made smaller by the display cases and furniture packed inside. This seems like my kind of place, actually. The walls are lined with bookshelves, and the tables and chairs are stacked with old tomes. A few titles jump out at you. Lucid Dreaming, an exploration of the inner self. Dream Logic. Nocturnal Visitations. Overall, the place feels lived in, if disorganized. Not quite cluttered, but close. Milling at the front of the store is a shopkeeper, lost in a book of her own. She's tall for a human, probably close to 2 meters in height. That is tall. Her physique is typical bookworm, not overweight, but you can't see any muscular definition either. A wraparound tattoo covers her upper arms and shoulders, but from where you're standing you can't quite make it out. She fidgets. Gradually her eyes rise from her book and lock onto you. Crafty jus. Welcome, don't believe I've seen you before. She sets down her book and sweeps a strand of black and pink hair behind her ear. Name's Crafty. I'm Beej. She shakes your hand. Her grip is surprisingly firm. So, Beej, what can I do for you? I've got spells, alchemical reagents, foci, whatever you want, really. I might have to do some digging to find it, but if it's magical, it's around here somewhere. Say, let's just start, is it your store? You just work here? It's mine. I inherited from my mom. As you can see, she generously left me all her research journals. Her words are thick with sarcasm. Mom was never a big cleaner, but neither am I. My mom used to keep spirits around that helped her manage the place. They're not here anymore, but sometimes I swear my books aren't where I last placed them. Who knows? Maybe they pop by for visits. I just wish they'd clean while they were here. What makes this store so special? It's old, respectable, built over a dragon line. She slightly tilts her head to the side. We also carry texts unavailable anywhere else, but I guess, for me, I'm drawn to this place by the nostalgia. You don't sound thrilled. It's a job, can't complain. What's with the name of the store? It's a cultural thing. The 5 phases represent wood, earth, fire, water, and... The 5 phases represent wood, earth, water, fire, and metal. Some people believe they're the basis of how things function and interact in this world. You'll find it practiced all throughout China, in disciplines ranging from farming to science, even music. The theory isn't common among younger generations, but it has its uses. My mother was strongly influenced by it. In fact, our sign out front is a visual representation of the cycle of 5 phases. It was an inspiration to her. She raises a shoulder in a half shrug. I just think that it looks neat. I have a question about something else. Sure. Have you had any vivid dreams lately? Her face is unreadable. Her eyes lock onto yours. As a matter of fact, I have, Beej. But we all get the occasional vivid dream. Nothing special there. Gesture to the books on the tabletop. Really? Then why are you reading up on them? Aha! J'accuse! She flicks her wrist dismissively. Ah! Sure, it's a little weird that we're having them, but these types of dreams are common in the walled city. Nothing to get all worked up about, probably. Oh. Strange, I met someone the other day who said that too. Let's do that. She nods. Anyone who's familiar with the walled city would know that, but most people don't go out of their way to find out. My mother devoted her life to researching the walled city. And the magical phenomena within it. So I grew up with stories about the city, the recurrent creepy dreams being one of them. They're common then? She nods. Common as the cold. My mother devoted her life to researching the recurrent creepy dreams. I've never been inside the walled city myself, but Mom went in pretty regularly and experienced the dreams. That was weird. She just repeated the same thing. Yeah. Interesting person. The sides of her mouth dip into a shallow frown. Sure, she was interesting, but not praiseworthy. What else do you know about the walled city? Very little, just that my mother spent most of her time in there, and she shifts her weight, leans onto the counter. Well, it messed her up. Is there something specific you want to know about? What can you tell me about the city? She runs a hand through her hair, exhales. Where to begin? The walled city's always been a hellhole. It started a bad place. It's still a bad place. Crime's drawn to it like a magnet, and you can't enter the city without a security guard on each elbow. But not even that will guarantee you safe passage. No one famous or rich or memorable has ever come from the place. The only thing it's known for around here is its shitty reputation. She shrugs loosely. That's about the gist of it. Now, there's a whole library here that just so happens to be the foremost location for walled city texts. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. Tell me about yourself. She raises a shoulder and a half shrug. I'm not sure where to start. What do you want to know? Is Crafty really your first name? No. A wave of nostalgia seems to pull her gaze towards the shop's front window. The name started out as a joke, actually. Back home, my mother used to call me Crafty since the meaning is similar to my given name. I liked it because of the way it sounds. It's just that my family called me Crafty, so it became sort of a nickname around the house. When I got older and started school in Hong Kong, I made my mom register me as Crafty, and it stuck. I'm not going to ask her given name. That's weird. That's super weird to say. What's your given name? I'll pick number 2. Not to insinuate you're untrustworthy. She chuckles. No offense taken. It's way better than my given name, Meow. Cool. She raises her hand to prevent you from implying, yes, like a cat, you foreigners always make that same joke as why I grew up disliking the name. You can see why I prefer Crafty. That sounds like quite the mage. You study magic too? Sure did. Natural predisposition. She flexes her arm. Or whatever. But Mom and I learned the craft differently. I went to university and she was book taught. Mom was very old school. Her magic wasn't as applicable to everyday situations. It was rooted in superstitions. It still worked. And well, but only for more ritualistic ancient spells. Practical spells like rain shields and bottomless trash cans were outside of her repertoire. That's what do you do when you're not at work? I've been pretty crunched here at the shop, so I don't have a lot of time outside of work, but when I'm off the clock, I like to read and paint, maybe kick back and enjoy a meal with my friends. My buddy Gobbet sometimes stops by with food. No drag racing or anything, pretty boring. I know a Gobbet. You know a lot of Gobbets? Her teasing resolves itself to a gentle smirk. I'm sure they're one and the same. She's a good person. We're not real close, but we have a pleasant relationship. Chatting over French fries, discussing our latest reads, shallow things. How do you know her? She and Isabel got me out of a tough spot. That's kind of... that's fine. Good, keep her by her side. Gobbet's pretty fluent in the ways of the city and the people who live here. She knows her stuff. If you stick with her, you'll find yourself in a lot less trouble than you would otherwise. You said you paint? Just for fun. I don't make any money off of it or anything like that. I just find it relaxing. She pats her arms. Design my tattoos. That's about the extent that I take it beyond the canvas. Mind if I see that tattoo? That's weirdly personal, but maybe that's less personal than seeing somebody's paintings? The tattoo thing. Yeah, sure. She turns her back to you, and you can see the tattoo in all its glory. It looks like an impressionist rendition of a school of salmon jumping upstream. The artistry of the piece is undeniable. That's amazing, real pro-quality work. An embarrassed smile creeps through her features. She scratches her shoulder. You're being way too generous, but I'll take it, thanks. What do you like to read? Crafty claps her hands together and a slow smile spreads across her face. Aside from the usual, I love sitting down each morning to a tall cup of soy calf, and with the latest news stream on hand, I pop it right open to the obituaries. Makes it great for great reading. She smiles at you for a moment before speaking. Kidding. Well, for all you know. I tend to stray towards detective novels, maybe some suspense and horror. When I'm not reading for leisure, I study my textbooks to keep my magic sharp. All right, let's move on to serious things. Share what's on your mind. Back on topic. Relationship with your mother was unusual? Why not? You better believe it. She was obsessed with the walled city. Put it before everyone in her life. Mom ate, slept, and breathed that city. I can see how that'd be hard to deal with. Just ask the question. Was something fueling your obsession? Crafty shifts her gaze to a stack of books on a nearby table. Yeah, actually. Mom was convinced that something was wrong with the place, that it was cursed in some way, polluted with a naturally bad chi. Oh yeah. She'd visit the city under the protection of the Yellow Lotus and spend hours, sometimes days, studying it. Crafty tears her eyes away from the books and returns her gaze to you. Mother was consumed by her research. Did you ever find anything? She sure tried. Mom thought she could find a way to purify the place and to exorcise its demons. Her obsession with the walled city grew, and she devoted more and more of her life to breaking its curse. Wish I could say she fell off the radar, but really, the rest of the world fell off of hers. That must have been hard for you. It is what it is, and here I am. Crafty gives you a warm smile. Sounds to me like you don't believe in your mother's research. You can see Crafty studying you. She exhales through her nose, and it seems as if she's considering something. I know we've just met, Beej, but you have a generous ear. I don't mind discussing my mother with you as long as we keep the details between us. Nice. Mother's research was stupid. Just plain stupid. She wasn't stupid herself. No, Mom was very bright, but her obsession was downright unhealthy. Anyone could see that. The walled city is a toxic place home to dark spirits and astral influence, but Mom believed in a singular curse at the heart of the place. When you say toxic, what do you mean? My mother failed to change the walled city, and the time she spent inside there changed her. She grew sickly and became moody, irritable. She suffered from night terrors the rest of her life. Crafty languidly sweeps a small clump of dust off of a nearby book. Must have been difficult to watch her decline like that. She points a finger at you. It wasn't just that. The breaking point for me was her ridiculous obsession. I refused to indulge her, and it drove a wedge between us. Neither of us were willing to relent. A small, bitter laugh escapes her throat. I guess we had that in common, stubborn until the end. So after Mom died, I turned my back on her work and left the walled city and its people to themselves. It's a toxic site beyond rehabilitation. I do my best to ignore it. Her composure breaks for a second. You can see Crafty shift nervously behind the counter. At least I've tried. Now that these dreams, these nightmares are leaking out of the walled city, I wonder if I can still ignore it. You always have a choice. You're right, but not everyone's choices are weighted evenly, and I just don't think I can turn a blind eye to what's happening here. She loosely gestured to the bookshelves all over the shop. I have my mother's journals. I have the means to try and help. It's sure to dredge up some bad memories, but if it'll help my friends, maybe it'll be worth it. I don't know. I guess I have a lot to think about. She crosses her arms and wraps her fingers against her skin. Anyway, thanks for lending me that ear of yours. I've been thinking about the dreams. Can I ask you something? We're going to do all the dialogue, so I hope you don't mind. This is not meant to be a completionist playthrough, but guess what? It's probably going to be a completionist playthrough. She nods. Go ahead. Why do you think they're affecting people outside the walled city? It's definitely strange. Until now, I'd always thought the dreams were nonsense, that my mother just had night terrors because of her madness. She props her chin up with her right hand. Vert. Sorry. I believe I'm getting, yeah. I'm getting scam texts. Moving on. But now it's really happening, and not just to me, to others around Heoi. The same psychic voices that, those same psychic forces that drove Mom insane and are edging into her subconscious. They've been wondering if there might have been something to her ravings. Maybe. I've been skeptical for so long, it feels almost blasphemous to consider it. Maybe the walled city's curse is real. She rubs her hand down her face, obviously frustrated. I just don't know. Of all the people here, have the greatest advantage? Or do I push her more towards her mom's stuff? I think the third one. That's true, but my mother's notes are scattered all over the shop. Most of her research is scrawled in the margins of the books that you see on the shelves in piles and stacks all over. The clues we need to figure this thing out could be in any one of these volumes, and there are thousands of them. Ooh, I have a bad feeling about these dreams. This isn't just about you or your mom. This is about everyone who's having these dreams, and you could help them all. Dreams reach spreading. Can you just really afford to sit on all little as long as just sit here? I think the second one is probably more my jam. You could help them all. She sighs, straightens up. Yeah, I know what I have to do. It's just, damn, look at them all. She tiredly looks down at the book she was reading earlier. Guess I won't be finishing this one anytime soon. All right, Paige, I'm going to get started now, but it'll take time. The House of Five Faces is jammed from floor to ceiling with books, and any one of them could hold valuable information. Check in once in a while, and I'll share my findings with you. If I have time. Sure thing, keep me updated. Clicks her tongue and points a finger at you. Will do. I'd like to see your wares. Hell yeah. Shamanic ritual garb. I feel like that might help me, because I'm not wearing anything that's that helpful. Can't do any of this stuff. A lot of these things I can't do because it's I am and shaman. Manibolt, strip armor, fog. There we go. Thought I had fog. Air barrier. Set 5 light cover barriers that last 3 rounds. Anyone that enters takes -1 damage. Anyone that enters. So it gives you light cover, but you can't. You're gonna lose an AP by doing it. Reduces the chance to target somebody with 15%. So fog's not bad either, as long as I can actually reach the people who are doing it. Slow to treat started moves by 2 for 3 rounds. Oh, hermetic fetish. Shamanic fetish. Precision fetish grasps a benefit of +1 charisma. Haha! All right, some actual summoning consumables. Lots of summoning consumables. And then shamanic salve. Simple magically prepared salve that heals 4 base HP and further 4 HP per round for 3 rounds consumed when used. That's super cheap. And it's kind of not a bad way to just, like, continually heal myself. I think what I do here, though, is I'm probably going to end up buying that. I can't use Power Bolt, but that's fine. I've got that. And then Conjuring. So I have Acid Bolt and Haste, and I have an Aerial Mental Fetish. Acid Bolt and Haste. So I could get Fog. Cost 2 AP. I don't know what CD means. Area effect is 3. Cooldown is 2. Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Like, I want the robes. What I am going to do is take a brief break. See you around, because I can always come back and talk to her, and that'll be fine. There's nothing else I can touch in this room, I think. I'm going to take a brief break, so I'll drop a save. And be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Please enjoy the slide deck. I meant to hit that one instead. I hope I'm okay on the right-hand side. I know I'm blocking a little bit of the thing that I see. Yeah, look at how pretty that is. Game does seem a little dark, doesn't it? Let's hold on a second. I'm just gonna see if I can adjust that somehow. That's a little too dark. Boy, that's awful. So let's just... That's really weird. Oh, look at that. All right. No, we don't want to add more contrast. I'm sorry about that. If we do that, that starts to feel very bright, though. Oh man. Okay, so let's just turn that down until the orange seems. It's weird. It's very robust. No, that's not right. Gotta do that. Cool. Maybe it's just the gamma. Maybe the gamma's way off. But hopefully that should be a little bit nicer. You can see a little bit more of the stream. Yeah. For whatever reason, the game volume has been very loud in my own ears. And I think that's just something that everyone's been noticing, is that it's like, oh, Christ, the music's awfully loud. So we've been just kind of, like trying to adjust that. So hang on. Would it be better if I just put it back the way it was? Is that what everyone's telling me? The brightness? Because my monitor that I'm looking at, everything is kind of like, in this area, it's just kind of like grayish and whatnot because of the, it gets darker over here, but it gets nice and light over there. Yes. If you'd like it back the way it was, then I'll just put it back the way that it was. Let me just set it at 0, 0, and I will take your word for the fact that it's just how it's supposed to be. Yeah. I might have to just adjust that. See, we have two monitors here. I have where I'm playing the game, and I also have, so right here, where the camera is, that's mounted on the game that I'm playing, and then above that, over here, is what I'm seeing. It's from the streaming PC. And then, of course, this monitor, and then there's a monitor over there where I'm waving my pinky finger, and that's where you guys are. I can see you on there. So, if everything is okay, then I think I'll just leave it as such, and I'm not going to play with it anymore. I'm going to walk around a little bit more. My concern is that, like, what I want to do is meet everybody, and also kit myself out a bit, and that's go see Spider, who looks to be a monk and will sell me things for physical adepts, probably. All right, so yes, here is Spider Shen. We've already talked to him once. So his monk's robes are anything but ordinary silk, paired with high-impact ballistic armor, heavy-duty knives, and a bandolier of throwing knives. The table in front of you is arrayed with a wide variety of melee weapons, charms, jade pendants, and other mystical accoutrements. Beneath an awning in the rear is rows upon rows of cages, each housing some variety of exotic reptile or insect. These in turn are flanked by jars and boxes of Chinese herbs, incense, powders, and inks. The monk spares you only the shortest of glances as you approach. I hadn't actually read all through that yet. I am Monk Shen. Most people in Heoi call me Spider Shen on account of these spiders back there. You're not local, not by a long shot. Yeah, what about it? Shen shrugs and swings an open palm across the table in front of you. So you probably have more reason to buy something than my neighbors, and I'm here to sell, so that's good. Swords, knives, clubs, I sell it all. I make the most of these, but if I can't, I've got friends who can. If you need incense or salves for meditation, I make and sell those too. And if your joints aches, I can give you acupuncture. Shen places both palms on the table, leaning over toward you with a wicked grin. So, what can I show you? You're a monk and a weapons dealer? Shen slowly raises an eyebrow, arms folded. Yeah. Where else would the ancient masters have gotten their legendary swords and spears? Down at the mall? I was at Wudang Mountain for 15 years before coming back to Hong Kong. I've been practicing Jing Yi Quan my entire life. That's how I learned the herbs as well as the forms. It just so happens I'm good in a forge, too. That's why what you buy here is better than most other people's. What's Jing Yi Quan? Yes, good. Shen strikes a sudden pose, body low, one fist against the hip, while the other is extended in an open palm. The 5-element fist style. Water grows wood, which burns to become fire. Fire creates ash and earth, which condenses into metal, etc. The forms cycle the 5 elements, and opposing elements block each other. A water fist will break a wooden defense, but a water block will extinguish fire. Should one use a water interception on a metal fist, however, water would be smashed apart. Direct, simple, powerful. Not as elegant as Baiji Quan or Tai Chi, but much more powerful. Shen pulls a tarp away from a nearby lump. The object beneath the tarp is revealed as the door to an Ares City Master armored personnel carrier. It's been caved inward by a massive amount of force, and in the dead center of the door is an indentation to which Shen's fist would fit perfectly. Power comes from focus, and focus comes from practice and meditation. Jing Yi Quan produces more power than most other forms of Kung Fu, and applies it in a highly focused way. So I become a weapons dealer out here. I was a runaway, a street orphan in Aberdeen. One day an old man who called himself Woe offered to take me in, let me make something myself, as long as I worked hard. Nothing in this life is free, friend, not even Grandfather Woe's help, so I work for him now. Sounds like he was part of a triad? Shen's eyes roll at this. Obviously. You think I'm in Kindly's little haven for no reason? She and Grandfather Woe are on good terms. I don't get in her way. I pay a cut to her and everybody's happy, even Woe, because I solve problems for him. Shen raises a balled fist, which suddenly bursts into blue flame. After a moment it gutters and goes out. I guess maybe sputters. Remember that if anyone ever gives you something for free in Heioi, you'll pay it back with money or blood, but you'll pay it back regardless. Why are your weapons special? Because I take greater care with them, and I've studied the ancient texts. Anybody can make an excellent carbide steel blade, but I can make that carbide blade burst into flames. I can make it sing with joy in combat. Anybody can make steel. Not anyone can awake its soul. Can I see one of the blades you've awoken? Shen waves a hand and dismisses me. No, of course not. Swords like that have to be custom ordered. Only when someone cancels an order do I have one just laying around, and believe me, they get snatched up quick. Let's talk about something else. What do you want to know? You sell the snakes and spiders too? Shen sticks a finger at you, eyes narrowed. No, they're mine. I can sell you the things I craft with my hands, or the things I can do, but the medicines and poisons I make are my secret. You want those? You apprentice to me. In 5 years, maybe I show you how to make a poultice, eh? They're that secret? Of course they're secret. These are what set me apart from the rest of my These are what set me apart from the rest of the street dealers in Heioi. You want cram or bliss? Any 2-bit triad punk can make that for you. But I can realign your chi, set your yin and yang in balance, or set somebody else's out of balance with a few drops. To master my skills, you need to learn for years. It's not just following a formula. You want to learn, you need patience. You try to learn without patience, all you do is ape the masters. Shen snaps 2 fingers and points at the cages. You have to understand them to truly learn my art. Otherwise, you never become a master. Might as well get a skill soft. Let's look at your wares. So, the katana, street monk outfit, manifest, nerve strike, killing hands. One day I'm gonna have to replay these games as a physical adept. Spiked fist, throwing knife. Chi casting does all this, which is not my jam. There's so much cool shit that you can do in Shadowrun. So much. Alright. Oh, I can go in the casino now if I wanted to, or whatever that is. I can go into Club 88 anyway. Let's talk to Frederick. Like most troll bouncers, this man is knotted with muscles, but absent are the myriad scars that come with age or indiscretion. I love the cat. His only blemishes are the bony skin growths common to his kind and a single deep scar across his neck and collarbone. You watch yourself in here, or else we check your aerodynamics. mean, I know what he means immediately. How do you mean? Anyone causes trouble, I see how far I can throw them. No fighting, no killing, no sex trade. Alright. He lifts an arm, flexing. His muscles jump out like a mass of serpents and steel cabling. His arm is easily as thick as most humans' waists. I don't mess around. Cool. There's no way to go back into the walled city at this point. Do I use the... Oh, that's the medical clinic. I don't need to use that yet. Might be interesting, though, to see if I can get inside. You again? I thought I told you to fuck off. Kindly will vouch for me. Yeah, you just dial your engine there a minute, and I'll check on that. Long silence in the intercom. Door gives several metallic clicks. There's a dull rumble like heavy bolts sliding back. A green light flashes on the terminal. The door appears to be unlocked. You can enter the clinic. That's all it took. Alright, let's go talk to the 10-armed Ambrose. This clinic looks like it just hosted a party. Spindly mechanical arms swing from unobtrusive wall mounts, pulling down crepe paper ribbons and scooping food platters and empty beer bottles into biohazard bags. A severely crippled Caucasian man sits in a wheelchair amidst the maelstrom of mess and robotics. He's in his 40s. Thick beard, tungsten earrings, beer belly, one cyber eye. Both his legs are missing, one at the hip, the other at the knee. He has only one arm, and only 3 fingers remain on his surviving hand. His face and arm show the scars of reconstructive surgery. He grins widely at you, regarding you with bloodshot eyes. He's clearly hungover. Hey, I'm Ambrose! He shouts cheerfully in English, his words piling together in a loose Midwestern accent. They call me 10 Arms. Welcome to the Kong, fellow UCASian. Ucasian, maybe? He chuckles, his chest shaking with mirth. A Waldo arm springs to life and swings over to him. Its menacing metal pincer momentarily sets a cigarette between his lips, just long enough for him to inhale from it. Kindly says, "You're all right. What can I do for you?" You're a doctor? Sure I am, a rigger doctor. A rockter! Ambrose bursts into laughter, then stops and clutches his head. Oh man, I cannot laugh hard today. Too much partying last night. It hurts. I'm not board certified, but don't worry, I should be. I'm full-on skilled. My work's Yellow Lotus guaranteed and precisely in accordance with World Medical Association standards. Everyone in Hayway comes to me, because I'm the only option. Ambrose chuckles delightedly. Sounds good to me. Right on, let's get you tricked out, unless you just want to bullshit, which I'm down for too. Yeah. What do you do here? What do I do? Tune-ups and engine rebuilds on your ass. I do it all. First aid, second aid, surgery, cybernetics, obstetrics, euthanasia. I'm your one-stop shop for health and beauty. Well, maybe not beauty. I don't modify myself. Shoot, this is a friendly little neighborhood. I love it when people come by and bullshit. Hell, I host birthdays. Ambrose's spider drone swings a bottle of coffee liqueur over to his nose. He sniffs it gingerly. No, that's not good anymore. Full of spit and cigarette ash. What sort of mechanical services do you offer? Oh, nothing you'd be interested in. Right now, I'm mostly doing engine mechanics and electrician stuff. I send Maximum Law and Reliable Matthew any work they can handle. It's really just a hobby and service to the community. I make my nut with the clinic. He looks fondly over the massive, partially assembled V8 engine occupying part of the operating theater. That baby's gonna be a goddess when I'm done with her. Can you install me with combat wear? You know it. You got the coin and the essence. I'll trick you out like a bulldozer with ground effects and a turret. I've got it all. Bionic limbs, wired reflexes, deckerware, blood filters, synthetic muscle, bone lacing, greased bearings, ground effects, tight bolts. He said ground effects twice, didn't he? He did. Whatever. The full range of Chrome Alley services is something that we like to keep beneath the HKPF's radar. Ambrose winks. Your front door could stop a bulldozer. Why so fortified? Are you kidding? Have you any idea how much all this stuff in here is worth? This is a high capital operation, and life's dangerous for a guy missing most of his members, tooling up smugglers and criminals. Let me tell you what, though. Someone busts in here, they're going to be in a world of hurt. Ambrose chuckles evilly. There's a lot more than pipes and wires up in the false ceiling, and I've got Kindly's crew and the Club 88 boys on the panic button. They know which side their bread is chromed on. What, you thinking of trying to knock me over? He laughs uproariously, but it's clear he's not kidding. Show me your services. Sure thing, tune up for spare parts. I'll take a V8 engine and a box of chocolates. Ambrose bursts in laughter. I like you, you've got good taste, but that engine is family. Seriously, what do you want? Cyberware? So, my understanding is that any sort of spell casting you do, this will ruin it. You get worse at spell casting when you start putting stuff into your body. Because, yeah, you need some sort of affinity and stuff. And essence is kind of what you need to, yeah, you definitely need essence to do stuff, is my understanding. And everything costs essence. Yeah, it will lower my spell slots. That's what it is. Not doing any of those things. So what about med supplies? Trauma kits, med kits. Just trauma kits and med kits so far. Nothing big. Goodbye. Cheers, Beach. Talk to you later. He knows my name. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Examine whatever this was. This electro furnace room has been built out as a medical clinic and a machine shop. The air is alive with a rumble of furnaces and the hum of cooling fans. It is sweltering. Front area is more of a homey coffee house than a clinic lobby. Comfortable old furniture, used digipads, coloring books. Wall opposite the boilers is cluttered with a mixture of photos and prints. Local artists' work, images of military vehicles, off-road racing, Rube Goldberg machines, personal photos, old-time Chicago gangsters, the Desert Wars Motorized Combat Division. Glance around the clinic space. Work area The work area looks more like a machine shop than a medical theater. A roboticized operating table and a hydraulic lift supporting a partly disassembled V8 engine occupy places of equal importance against the north and south walls. Prosthetic limbs are racked overhead like machine parts. A heavy lift hoist is clamped to an I-beam. An impressive home-built computer sits against the far wall. Several bulkier towers sit under the desk, fans whirring. It's more like a Sisseman-Decker service station than a doctor's terminal. The floors are scuffed concrete, stained with grease and old blood. The faint odors of ammonia, gasoline, and antiseptic mingle in the air. A large sign on the back wall reads, "Sanitary space, no spitting." Personal photos. Pictures are mostly of Hayoi residents, holidays, and parties. 10 armed Ambroses in many of them. The vast scope of photos suggests that Ambrose must be acquainted with almost everyone in Hayoi. Look away. And then the computer. This impressive whole-built computer is running multiple large memory units and processors. Chilled air from its active cooling fans washes across you to the whir of fans. A thin fiber optic cable runs across the floor to Ambrose in his chair. On the wall behind the computer are miscellaneous decorations, notes, and photos. Two items stand out: a large dry erase calendar and a corkboard plastered with printouts. News clippings and BBS posts have been printed, carefully snipped and pinned in place. Most are less than a year old. They're intermixed with grainy photographs of what looks like a devastated city. Chicago. So Ambrose is from Chicago. The news articles describes an outbreak of a virulent version of the Vites plague in the city and a subsequent quarantine of a zone containing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people. The news items are plain text bulletin board postings printed out. The very fact they're from so crude a site is strange. Very, very few Matrix sites are so plain. So, this is twice now. 3 times I've run into Shadowrunner and twice I've run into Academic. I feel like I can come back here. So A, I can go buy a thing that gives me +1 charisma, and B, I have enough points to actually buy charisma. All right, return my... I feel like if I do any of these things, then I miss my chance to actually do any of this stuff. Examine the postings. Files smuggled out from within the containment zone. They describe a cover-up, the detonation of a small nuclear weapon, and the catastrophic release of insect spirits into the city. The current conditions reported by the drones and escapees are horrific. Try to parse the source. Simple bulletin board systems such as would be used only when bandwidth is at a premium. Data has to be sent long distances, like thousands of kilometers. Okay, so use that BBS if you need to send long-distance data. Check out some recurrent statements that seem to refer to the venue. The BBS, Shadowland. The primary moderator looks someone named Captain Chaos. These postings are from the North American Dark Matrix site that operates out of the Denver Data Haven, the so-called Shadowland. The Shadowland, supposedly the global mothership of Matrix havens for runners. Okay, so I can't do any more of that stuff. And it's probably mostly interesting stuff, but look at the calendar. Driver's calendar is clever with a relentless storm of commitments written in cramped, sloppy Hanzi. Most appear to be medical appointments with patients, followed by a busy list of social engagements. Social scrutiny reveals others. A basic mechanics class on Wednesdays nights. Basic computer coding, Sunday afternoons. Before both of these, inked in red marker is prepare lesson plan, you stupid idiot. Oh, cool. Holidays, big combat auto races. Birthdays, every Sunday until 4 p.m. is simply labeled engine. Only 5 hours a night are allocated to sleep, but large swaths of time are conspicuously labeled hangover. Thank you, Ambrose. It's weird because I feel like, in a way, me doing, like, if I was to buy that thing that gives me +1 charisma just to advance ahead, just to kind of move along a little bit, that's cool. Especially because it saves me from spending some karma to get there. Yeah. Like, naturally the things I want to do is, like, spend some karma to bump ahead a little bit in charisma. But I also want to, I'd like to buy that thing that gives me the +1, and also I think just having better armor than what I have is not a bad idea, because currently, like, I am wearing secure shaman clothing, which is just level 1, and that thing that's like armor 3 seems like it wouldn't be a bad idea. I'll never have that, so we don't worry about that. Let's go inside Club 88. God, that takes me right back to the Super Nintendo one. Open door. Oh. Cullum Kai-Fi. Kai-Fi. I can turn down that thing. Better groomed than most of his kind, the young troll nonetheless ruins the effort with his own blatant drunkenness. His eyes are red and expression foggy, he otherwise appears to be high functioning. Have a drink, friend, have two, then maybe have something else to chase it, eh? You alright? Couldn't be better. I'm a prince of Club 88, chosen you might say. You part of the family that owns this place? You are a shrewd one, friend. I'm the heir apparent, and my birthright? To peddle chems to every sniffer that passes through our gates. What do you say? Need something to pick you up or bring you down? Can you tell me what I might find around here? Not a hell of a lot, but I suppose it depends what you're in the market for. I'm your man for chemistry. My mom offers an assortment of firearms in the back. Everything else here is just glitter and smoke. If you're looking for tech, Law's place sells all the techno baubles you could ask for. Just walk towards the giant blue hollow sign that gives everyone a headache. Out further in the same dock, Reliable Matthews, your basic used drone salesman. He's the only game in town for that sort of stuff. If you need magical whatsits, try the Parlor of 5 Phases. Haven't a clue about that stuff myself, but both places certainly smell legit from the street. Better off staying here, though. I can set you up with an ampoule of something really smooth. Let's see what you have. Cram, Hyper, Cram, Hyper, and Toko. In fact, I have Toko. I feel like it's the kind of thing that I would probably give to somebody who needs to have the additional strength. Like, I don't need to be carrying it on me, perhaps. I need to maybe give it to somebody else. Cram, though, always a good idea. Gotta get that cram. No downsides to doing amphetamines. I like that it's like the designer amphetamine, and then Hyper does a thing. It's like, this is the illegal street drug. Cheap, though. Then I talked to Henry. Hi, Henry. There's only one way to describe the troll haunting the back of Club 88. Weathered. It is as if the man had been carved from granite and then battered by the crash of waves and salty winds over the course of decades. Welcome to Club 88. No killing, no fighting, no sex trade. I can respect that. I'm Beej. I'm Henry Kai-Fi. I suppose I own this place. If you're looking for guns, speak to my wife. If you're looking for pharma, speak to my son Callum. If you're looking for trouble, you'll be seeing my son Frederick. Briefly. I'll leave you be. Any other reason to talk to him? Nope. Let's go talk to his wife. That's interesting. Oh, security door. That makes sense, I guess. Uh-huh. Herman Kafai. I swear I clicked on you to talk to you. There we go. The older troll woman has a striking Amazonian quality. When she was younger, she must have really turned heads. Can I help you? I'm usually beyond helping. What can you offer? Guns or a swift kick out the door if you mess with me or mine. This is my family's place. Me, my husband, and our 2 boys. Now, do you have business with me? I have no time for window shoppers. What have you got for sale? Firearms from all over the world, from Ares to Walther and everything in between. You in the market? Let's take a look. It's funny because things I also remember is like, what can you tell me about Heoi? There's only one thing you need to know. The corporations do not rule Heoi. We're under Kindly Cheng's umbrella, and her Yellow Lotus soldiers protect the docks and maintain the peace, but we're not Triad members, and they don't own us. Heoi is a crossroads where goods change hand and deals are made. Kindly makes the market, but we, the families, make it happen. Ermin speaks with the pride of a woman who bows politely to great powers but never prostrates herself before them. Families rebuilt this place when it was left to rot. Strong families like mine, and we protect our own. Outsiders and corps know that tangling with Heoi is more trouble than we are worth. Triads know it's better to work with us and against us, and now you know these things as well. You would do well to remember them. Now you're looking to buy, maybe another time. Very well, was there something else? I think I already asked you about this. I did. I'll leave you be. Something else? No, goodbye. Did Cullum have anything else to say? No. He did not. Let's get out of Dodge. And what does Frederick have to say? I'm just watching the door. You sure are. Alright, I feel like I should probably... oh, right, we haven't talked to Law yet. There we go. Maximum Law. What a great name. Overhead, a giant hollow sign shines like a searchlight, screaming its message through the dim light. It turns, hums and flickers, sputtering like an old engine. Fierce electrical crackles sporadically burst out of the sign's emitter, stabbing your eyes and filling your ears with static. Under the baleful glare of the sign, the rusty mini-barge's deck is stacked with electronics. Dilapidated stereos share space with crisply boxed servers. Ranks of discs and memory chips fill display cases, padlocked under plexiglass. A short human in his late 20s stands in the middle, hands on his hips, talking loudly into the air. Bulky VR goggles covered his eyes. A data jack cable runs from his temple down his stained t-shirt to a beltload of clearly home-built computer hardware. No, I'm telling you, his voice is shrill, clipped. Nobody uses KM3s. Like, nobody. They're shit. I don't care what Deng says. If Shiawase SRP uses KM3s, they're stupid. Hey, flesh is rolling up. I gotta go. He turns to face you, goggles blank and enigmatic, blinking with tiny lights and wrapped in duct tape. He points at your PDA. I ripped that PDA. You work for Kindly. His lips work impatiently. Yo, what do you want? You provide this PDA? Tell me about it. It was a Fuji Zero Star 3. They use a Scarab chip, which is good, but the motherboard's wet noodles and sprouts. Interesting. I pulled out the trackers, installed encryption. Now it runs on the Wampoa virtual network. The corps and cops can't crack it, can't track it. Well, thanks for the PDA. He shrugs dismissively. It's what we do. This is Law's Technology Palace, satellite territory of Wampoa. You step on the boat, you're in sovereign state. I represent Wampoa here. I'm Maximum Law. He draws himself proudly and setting his hands on his hips. The Maximum Law, yo. You got a tech problem? Boom, I solve it. You need software? Boom, done. But don't waste my time. So you got any business in Wampoa right now? If not, keep moving. Oh, the SimSense chip. Found this while poking around the walled city. Worth anything? He scans the chip's casing with a handle optical reader. Yo, that shit is banned. Lifted off some Yellow Lotus? They traffic this stuff. Delimited sim chips, full sensory experiences. Looking for a buyer? I can make it happen. How's 120 yen sound? That's not anything! No, I think I'll keep it. What? Don't tease me like that, Raw. Oh, don't tease me like that, Raw. It's amazingly ostentatious hollow sign you've got. Yo, it's pretty boss. Aspen looks up at the gigantic blue-white letters with deep satisfaction. I think it must cost you a small fortune. Oh, maybe I'll be nice. Yeah, pretty boss. Damn right. He gives you a virile nod. You're a guy who appreciates the good stuff. I like that. Half of Heyo gets his juice from a pirate tap on a big Mitsuhama DC cable under the river. Mitsuhama's like, his voice winds up into a mocking whine. Oh, let's run 2 million volts from the cold fusion plant to the island under the river. Those slum monkeys can't tap an underwater cable. Idiots. You know who built the tap that pulls electricity off that cable? Wampoa. You know whose barge holds a transformer? Mine. Maximum Law thrusts his fist high into the air in silent victory. Cheap power for all and a whole lot extra for me. Behold the lighthouse of Boom. Why are you wearing VR goggles? It's not VR, it's augmented reality. That's AR. We're pioneering it. Not really. Little cameras, matrix overlay. I can support a 3-dimensional HUD and sub windows with 5 live multiple feeds. Got a command shield right now. I'm networked with 5 guys. Law taps his goggle. Wave of the future. Not a Decker. Sounds interesting. It is. Law says it with supreme confidence and is a statement of perfect fact. It's like you've got some digitally exposed wires over there. Yo, what are you, my mother? Law regards you with skeptical disgust. Those wires are fine where they are, high and dry. They're the only a problem for someone who does something stupid. I'm running a high bandwidth tech operation. Do I look like I have time to tape copper and sip tea? No, I don't. But maybe you should. Law wraps his knuckles fiercely in a clear top case full of buses, cables, and cable harnesses. These are the only wires you need to think about. I'm here for tech. Show me what you got. Kraftwerk, boost, decrypt, suppression. All these good things. And then cargo carrier, yes. Like, I have this thing. This SimSense chip. The problem is I have no idea whether I should sell it or not. Like, so here's the thing. In Hollow Knight, you can get journals and shit. And if you walk them to an area, to a guy, you can sell them. And you're like, oh, don't do that. Well, yeah, do that. Because really, there's no point in carrying them around. They're basically ways for you to make some extra money. So if the SimSense chip is all this is like, hey, I found a thing, and it's like, you found a thing. You didn't find a data stick, a cred stick with 120 nuyen on it. You found a thing, and then you had to get rid of the thing so you could get the nuyen from it. If it's just bonus money, if that's all this is, and the angel's telling me it is, yeah, it's just stuff. Sell the stuff, get the stuff. Then I'll do that. No one else is stopping me from doing that. I'm going to take a little bit of a sip here. There's that cat again. Then I'm just going to go right ahead. Take my banned weird thing. Well, yeah, I'll sample it first, but these Cal Hots can send you for a trip. Don't worry, I can handle my Sims. All right, see you later, Law. Yeah, whatever. All right. I think I buy nicer armor. Yeah, let's just do that. I'd like to see your wares, Crafty. Outfits. That. Confirm. Cool. Maybe I get rid of that. Preview. Ah, yes, that's much more what I want to look like. Check out my goofy looking ass. I love the wood grain on the back, too. I mean, I know that's not what that is, but yeah. Well, that's higher armor. I'd like to see your wares. Maybe we'll sell this. Why do I need this? Would I ever need it? Exit. Just browsing. Thank you, Kathy. Though I know I didn't sell it. I'm aware. Yes, I know I didn't sell it. I meant to not sell it because I'm one of those people who carries around all my shit until later in the game, and I'm like, now it's time to sell things and make money. But I am wondering if I shouldn't, like, pick up another thing. I have, how much cash do I have? I have 1,800. And I feel like spending some of that to get some better stuff for people is not a bad idea, but maybe I'll just sell that. I'll actually do that. Sell items, sell that, sell that. And yeah. Conjuring. It just like reduces the chance to target someone by 50% as opposed to reduces accuracy? Maybe this is just a very nice thing to have. Alright, I'm going to buy that. And there it is. It is part of my spellbook. I'm not going to worry about fetishes at the moment. I know that the idea is like I know that it's like part of the problem is they're consumables, right? So it's like for me to be able to summon a spirit, it seems like not a bad idea. And we'll just run into Duncan. We'll talk to him briefly. Whose cabin appears to be the only clean spot on the bolt hole. His equipment is neatly laid out in his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He's currently in the process of cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. Yeah, I think it's time to catch up. Could be. He stops for a moment, steers the weapon in his hand. That's why I'm maintaining my equipment. It helps me focus my brain and work through stuff. Size and lower the rifle. Now's a good time as any, I guess. Where do you want to start? I want to talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think's going on with him? I don't know, Adam. He was clearly obsessed with the walled city and whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners from Triad bosses. Raymond was smart as hell. I'm sure he had a reason for using Kindly Ching as a fixer. But I think he came to Hong Kong. He was from here, right? He sounds like he had some unfinished business he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? Maybe. Just something to think about. Did he say anything about me after I left? You know, Raymond Adam, he taught us what he wanted to teach us. He told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it's out of your mouth, it's out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What's there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary hiding in the shadows of a foreign country doing dirty jobs that the corpse need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking to it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said you thought that Raymond was alive too, that we'd run the shadows until we could figure out what happened to him. Was that true? Yes, for me this is all about finding what really happened to Raymond. We're not clearly satisfied. Good that we're on the same page. I feel better knowing that. What's your opinion of Kylie Chang? I say she's got it right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? What do you think she wants from us? As long as her network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care, at least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. You think we can trust her? Triad boss and an underground fixer? No, I don't think we can trust her, but as long as we all share the same goals, we should be okay. As long as we serve her interests, she doesn't have a reason to screw us over. Exactly, it's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell's going on. We figure out what's going on. She doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of a river. That's a weird thing to say. It's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell's going on. We figure out what's going on. She doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of a river. That's weird. Everybody wins. Plastic-faced man. Creepy dudes are nothing new to me. Even well-dressed creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and that shit I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. Keep an eye on Strangler Bow. You should definitely keep an eye on everybody. And that guy's definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in the Barrens and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not even sure he knows what the word remorse even means. You should steer clear of him. I'll be careful. You'll be dead. Uh-huh, I can see that. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Gobbet and Isabel. They seem competent, considering how young they are, but then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us work together well within the walled city. Based on that, I bet the four of us would make a solid crew. Do you trust them? As far as I trust any runner, yeah. It's like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me a reason not to trust them, so until they do, I believe what they say and keep my eyes open. Can't get that dream I had out of my head. You said you had one too, right? Yeah, yours sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by our run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have that nightmare. Was the walled city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? He gives you a lopsided grin. Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. Sure, I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum and a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. Of course we dreamed about it. I had a feeling I had there stay with me. It felt thick, heavy, and I got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere, and there was a tunnel that was so bright I had to shut my eyes. And Raymond was there. He's either kneeling or lying down. I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up, the sound of my father crying. Do you feel any different from any other nightmares you've had? He takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before he responds. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong when you see him? It kind of feels like that to me, like I dreamed I was swimming towards a bright light, and when I woke up I was out of breath from the effort. Something else. Let's talk later, in fact. It was good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam. Then it's rack time for me. You should do the same, Adam. A couple hundred push-ups will do you good. Please, I can bust out 200 in my sleep. Here's his eyebrow. I'd love to see that sometime, but for now you should clear out. I want to get started. This cabin isn't big enough for two. What the fuck are you doing in this cabin, my dude? It's massive. I love how he lays everything out, though. That's really cool. All right. It goes back down. Isabel. Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that. She's elbow deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of a half dozen that have been wired to your computer with braided cables. She was hoping to talk to you. Got a second? There's a long pause, and she chirps off a response. We're talking now, aren't we? All right. We're talking now, aren't we? That's, I guess, what she's saying. I guess so. Yeah, can I ask you a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of the obsolete deck. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. It's quite a machine you're working on. Care to tell me about it? She's my pet project. I call her the Octopus. She was a hand in a tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Impressive work. How well does it perform? She's a monster. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, and fumbles in a nearby bin for replacement. An absolute beast. What's this thing made of? Whatever I could find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyberdecks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Law's dumpster. Scavengers would kill for this stuff in the walled city, but out here people throw it away. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out huge amounts of new in hope of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. Why? Because I can have 5 of last year's model for a quarter of the price of that whiz new cyber deck, and after I've finished daisy chaining them together, the machine that I've built will run circles around your hot new deck. Yeah, you'll need a flatbed truck to carry it. Do we look like we're hurting for space to you? She rummages in a bin to her left and pulls out a stick of solid-state memory. It disappears into the deck she's working on. We've got a whole boat to work with, your cabin included. If I told Gobbet I needed it, you wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I could if I wanted to, though. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Her body goes still. Yes, I think that everybody has. Me too, I've been having horrible nightmares. I know, it happens more often than you'd think. She tilts her head in the direction of the walled city. This kind of mass psychosis was common where I grew up. Everybody got it. Wait, you've been sharing bad dreams with others since you were a kid? She nods. In the walled city, just one of many amenities of life in that hellhole. But this, having it happen outside the slum, this is new. I don't know what's causing it. I don't think I want to. What about your portable gear? Gets the job done. Might not be top of the line, but uncomfortable using it in the field. If you should happen to come across any more advanced hardware or software, either on the job or on the discount rack at Law's Techno Palace, I'm not above taking donations, but barring that, I'm fine with using what I got. Your call. Ambush at Victoria Harbor. I'd rather not. I'd lost friends there. Duncan and I didn't come out of that attack unscathed either. Shut Carter down, same as your friends. Was she your friend? You didn't seem that close. She returns her attention to the octopus, turning her back on you. Alright, didn't really get there. To get to know you better. You don't like talking about things on your computer very much, do you? There's a long pause before she responds. When she does, she sounds vaguely hurt. I prefer not to. Nothing personal, it's just the way that I am. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know who I'm running with, don't you? Yes, you're still a mystery to me. There's a long pause. I don't like mysteries, but I do enjoy solving them. She turns, give you her full attention. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you a question, something personal. After you give me an answer, you get to ask me something. Think of it like a game of questions. We take turns until one of us wants to quit. Deal? Deal. You go first. Ask away. She studies your face. We'll start off easy. Tell me what you really think about Duncan. He can be a pain in the ass. He's like a brother to me. Interesting. I love and respect the man. He's family. Oh, that's hard. This is establishing a thing. And so I want to know how I want to establish that. Because I feel like, I mean, that's the thing. He's family. But I left. Like, I grew up with him. And I like to think that I would still be like, he's family. So therefore, that's what he is. He's family. She cocks her head inquisitively. I've heard how you abandoned him back in Seattle. That's love. You got a funny way of showing it. Well, you've answered my question. I guess that makes it your turn. You grew up in the walled city, right? Tell me about that. Maybe Gobbet instead. How did you and Gobbet meet? Her brow furrows, and after a moment she screws her eyes shut. We met as kids in the walled city. My prison was her playground. You okay, Isabel? Of course I'm okay. I'm fine. She shifts her gaze to the octopus. I just have a hard time remembering those days. My childhood is kind of a blur. And that would make it my turn. She pauses, considering. So tell me, what was your connection to Raymond Black? He was like a father to me and Duncan. He got us out of the Barrens. In that case, I'm sorry for your loss. Losing the ones that you love is hard. Your turn. Ask me a question. I'll give you an answer. How long have you been running the Shadows with Gobbet? That's a good question. I guess about 4 years now. Decent stretch by anyone's reckoning, and that brings us back to my turn. You enjoy it, don't you, living like this, working the shadows? It's a survival, I do what I have to, enjoyment doesn't come into it. She blinks, we may have more in common than I thought. Your turn again, go ahead, ask me something. Where did you learn to deck? The Wampoa. I lived in there for a while after escaping the walled city. The people there were difficult. We didn't get along, but it was a great place to learn. My turn again. Her head tilts as she studies your face. And I think my last question for you. You're stuck here, marooned, you and Duncan both. He's obviously unhappy with the situation. He keeps going on about the things he left behind. But what about you? Isn't there anything you want to get back to? Nothing worth mentioning. Truth be told, I'm enjoying the change of scenery. I left something important behind my entire life. I'm not gonna lie. Still got a life. It might not be the one that you want, but you've got it. Considering one down on the docks, it's saying something. She glances down at the clock on her desk, an antique model of physical hands that looks like it was wrenched into a submarine. A frown spreads across her face. Shit's even later than I thought. I've still got a long way to go before the octopus is fixed. She begins to turn away, her attention fixed on the stack of partially disassembled cyberdecks arrayed in front of her. I think I need to actually... either of these gets me somewhere, but I still think that I need to say this. You still owe me another question. She stops and plays fidgets. That's true. Go ahead. And you tell me what you can about the walled city. Your base code is cold. Why? Because Raymond Black wanted to go in there and someone destroyed my life to keep him from doing that. Her cheeks flush like they did the last time. She averts her eyes. No, I'm sorry, but no. Later maybe, but not now. Alright, Isabel, maybe next time. Or maybe, Isabel, please, this is important. Oh, God. She's not ready. Okay. Christ, I hate this. We don't know each other well enough yet. She doesn't feel ready to budge. I feel like I need to give her some space and come back to it. The trouble is that Isabel pleases is important is a push. But it's a plead. You owe me an answer, Isabel, that's how this game works, is way more emphatic. It doesn't necessarily mean that she tells me anything, but it does mean that it's like I'm being a hard ass about this. I don't want to be a hard ass about this. I want her to have to open up on her own. I don't think she needs me pressuring her into telling me these things. All right, Isabel, maybe next time feels like I'm giving up. That it's like, she says later maybe, but not now. And I'm like, she says maybe. I feel like I should say maybe next time. I feel like that gives her an out. I feel like it both makes us like understandable, you know, trying to like, you know, it's like, okay, you know you owe me an answer. You said later. Okay, later. I'll let you have that. Blinking, she turns away and buries herself in the octopus's splayed innards. Please excuse me, I have work to do. Now, Gobbet, who is apparently rad as hell, according to what everybody tells me. Gobbet's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground and overflowing garbage bins surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. It feels a lot like an art school dorm room. Gobbet reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast-iron pot simmers away on an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food. Chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbet slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, is Seattle? She chews on the words along with a mouthful of cheap pasta. A corner of her mouth curls up into a half smile. How's tricks? They'd be a lot better if you stopped calling me Seattle. Can't you give us something better than that? Of course I can. I come with all sorts of things. Can't promise you like them, though. Tell you what, why don't you just tell me what you want me to call you? It'll probably be easier that way for both of us. Personally, I like boss. I feel like killer is really funny because that's goofy. But you go by your street name, right? I want you to call me by mine. She shrugs, kind of a mouthful, and hey, if that's what you want, then so be it. Beej it is. Maybe it's the tusks that makes the j part hard. So, Beej, you want to tell me what you're doing in my bedroom? I see you're not here to admire the view. How'd you decide on the name Gobbet anyway? I didn't. She pops a noodle in her mouth and chews. My mom did. That's fucking terrible. You aren't using a street name? Isn't that dangerous for a Shadowrunner? Nah, not really. I'm sinless. There's no electronic record of a girl named Gobbet even existing. The only thing that could really threaten me would be, oh, say, the Hong Kong police force attaching an APB to whatever file they do have on me. That would be terrifying. Yeah, sorry about that. She shrugs. It is what it is. Have you had any nightmares recently? Her jaw stops working mid-chew. Slowly she nods. Yeah. Yeah, I have. We all have. Everyone in town. Me too. And Isabel. We both just had the same nightmare. Let me guess. You saw the walled city in a black whirlpool and teeth. Thousands and thousands of teeth. She holds up a hand. You don't need to answer. I already know that I'm right because I just had the same dream. Creepy, I know. Her voice goes quiet. The dreams are coming from inside the walled city, I'm sure of it. All the negative energy pent up in there, all of that pain and anger and poisonous chi. It's leaking out, and while we sleep, it's getting to us. You think this is a magical phenomenon, then? Yeah, I think it is. Want my personal opinion? The walled city is cursed. Deep down, I think that everyone knows it, and we live in its shadow. That's bound to mess with your head, you know, and it is. If they're just dreams, it's not like they can hurt us, right? I'm glad that one of us isn't terrified by this. She tries on to smile, fails, does her best to laugh it off. Don't worry, Beej, we're fine here, but let's talk about something else, huh? I don't like thinking about the walled city very much. Too many old fears and bad feelings. After talking about it, let's go over that ambush. Yeah, I figured you would. That was a hell of a thing, right? I go a little further than that. It was a clusterfuck of epic proportions. She nods. Yeah, that it was. Nightjar and Gutshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. Watch those two fight through situations that kill anyone and come out on top. And how do they go out? She mimes holding a rifle, making a show of peering down the scope. Bang, bang, dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished, smashed like bugs. We would have gone the same way if you hadn't gotten us out of there. She absentmindedly raises her bowl to her shoulder. A rat crawls over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more rat than me. She's the one that grabbed me by the gut and led us to the sewer entrance. All that I did was follow. I need to learn more about Rat. What kind of totem is she? She slurps thoughtfully at her soup. A clever one. She's gotten me out of more trouble than I care to mention. Got me through into a fair amount of it, too. But I can always count on her to lead me out of hot water when I need her to. I can feel in my belly, you know, sort of a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I'm a shaman myself. Never had my totem take an active role in leading me anywhere before. Don't feel bad about it. Me and Rat, well, we kind of have a sort of a special bond. She takes care of me, and I've always done my best to take care of her. Another pair of beady eyes blinks up at you from Gobbet's hip. A second Rat scurries up to her shoulder to join the first. And to spoil and pamper her earthly children like these two. Meet madness and folly. Interesting choice of names. I like the way they sound. Madness and folly. It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? She brushes her finger through the white rat's mottled coat. My girls remind me not to take myself too seriously. I wouldn't trust Folly, though. She bites. Just let rats drink out of your own bowl? She shrugs. Sure, why not? We're all part of the same nest. Makes as much sense as anything else, I guess. Of course it does. Besides which, I get shot at for a living. I get bigger things to worry about than a few stray hairs in my noodles. How'd you come across these two? She raises an eyebrow. I looked outside. I mean, they're rats. Hong Kong isn't experiencing a rodent shortage or anything, so you just pick them up off the street? Yep, think of them as rescue vermin. You could probably do the same if you wanted to. It's easy. Just walk into any alleyway in Kowloon after sundown and stick your hand in the first dumpster or storm drain that you come across. Keep fishing around until you touch fur. Sounds like a really bad idea. Yeah, in retrospect, it might have been. She continues to brush Folly's coat. The creature chirps happily at her touch. Odds are about 50-50 you get your hand chewed off. I'd probably feel bad about that. You seem pretty comfortable with all this. Be running the shadows for a while? She dips her chin. A long time. Started when I was just a kid. Still a kid now, Gubbit. What are you, 19? She rolls her shoulder shrug, something like that. Your guess is as good as mine. Doesn't change the fact I've been doing this for years, and you started yesterday. Matter of fact, Mage, I think I'm going to make a project out of you. Take you under my wing, so to speak. You need a wizened mentor. Might as well be me. I like the goofing a little bit more. You aren't wizened, Gobbit. Back in Seattle, you couldn't even order a drink without a fake ID. She smirks. Good thing we're not in Seattle then, but my point is still valid. You need to learn the basics, and I'm offering. Starting the next time you visit, I'm going to teach you all about being a Shadowrunner. You're going to benefit from my bountiful experience. Wait and see. I'll be looking forward to it. Gobbit stretches, stifles a yawn, her rat scurry from her shoulders down to her hips. She taps the simmering pot on the floor with her boot. The soup inside is reduced down to a thick, viscous gravy. You know, Beach, this has been a nice chat and all, but it's getting late, and I still have the rest of a hot pot to power through, so without wanting this to get awkward, I could help you that if you wanted. Thanks, but no thanks. Smirking, she brushes Folly's coat with the knuckles of her left hand. You can get your own food. Now would be a good time. All right, I get it. Talk to you later, Gobbit. Yeah, we'll do that. It'll be fun. Damn. All right. I did not quite get there. Let's go look at my... Let's go into the hatch. Raptor. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. The downstairs tenant has converted this space into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and Duraplast extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a black trench coat stands with his back to you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. I was wondering when I meet the new neighbor. His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of a Russian accent there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. Please, stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment. Unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Take your time, I won't touch anything. Oh, you're very kind, thank you. Examine the robotic arms mounted to the ceiling. You focus on the enormous manipulator arms that you saw earlier. They're bulky industrial things dented from years of heavy use. Each arm has been fitted with at least a dozen different welders, soldering guns, extruders, and metal fabrication tools. You've seen machinery like this in the factories before, but they look terribly out of place in the bolt holes cramped engine room. Hey, Adam. It's not me, it's the game. Hate the game, not the player? Very good, yes, it's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed. Uh-huh. I'm listening, Adam. He turns towards you, smiling, and for the first time you can see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flecks of ice. So sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Adam says, it's 2019, you just can't delete someone. If you're standing in the hallway doing this on your phone, I'm about to be very upset. Oh, good. Well, Adam, you're here. How should I introduce myself to this guy who shouldn't know who I am? Yeah, I straight up, I asked the chat, I was like, what should I name myself? I don't really know. And that's what they suggested. I needed a first name and a last name. This is an identity theft. This is a crime. Polizia. I love this. This is... I am doing an crime here. I am a Shadowrunner now. All right. We're going to go with Beach. He doesn't need to know my full name. You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for... His voice trails off as a flash of motion catches his eye. There it is. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts and his tone goes apologetic. Please don't mind the drone. He can be territorial, but so long as you remain civil, he will not bite. I like Mr. Fixit's suggestion for how I should respond to Adam if I was him. It would be, help Twitch chat, I'm being bullied on the internet. Ractor extends a hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. Ractor, my mechanical counterpart here is called Koshe. A pleasure. Shake his hand. I'm going to do it. His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. I'm very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Haoi, it's important to be on good terms with one's neighbors. All right, we'll see you later, Adam. I'd like to ask you some questions if you have the time. I feel like this ends badly. He glances at the bracer in his forearm. A technical display winks to life, then gutters out. Ooh, I have one of those. Can't see it when it does it, apparently. Anyway. Very well. This morning's casting should still be cooling for a few minutes yet. That's time enough to talk. Are you Russian? Thought I got a hint of an accent there. He nods. You have a good ear. I'm impressed. Yes, I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod. Went to school there. Started my career there in the industrial sector. Fairly common story, I'm sure, but I've also traveled a great deal. In doing, I've absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese? 15. He shrugs apologetically. It shames me to admit that I'm only literate in 12, though. That's still impressive. Perhaps when compared to the common man, but I know a great many polyglots who can and do put me to shame. Gives you another half shrug, and Koshe mirrors the gesture. Arabic has been a particular bugbear of mine. The unfamiliar characters and lack of vowels make it damned tricky to get a handle on, but I suppose that all men have their limits. When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said, a casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshe. He gestures at the display above the work table. A biomimetic design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean, the mangrove crab to be specific. You designing drone parts in here? He nods. And fabricating them, yes. How'd you learn to do that? More training experience than I care to mention. He offers you a wry smile. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see, and now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue, that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. Koshe is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose that it is. Fuck. Ah! How many goddamn academics am I going to meet around here? Not many riggers would name their most prized position after a villain from a fairy tale. A nod to my heritage, I suppose. What was the fairy tale about? A thoroughly unpleasant person. Koshe the Deathless, he was called, and for good reason. His soul was cleverly hidden outside of his body, and he could not be killed so long as it remained intact. Koshe was a villain and a notorious kidnapper of women, but something about him always stuck with me. I suppose it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure, and so when it came time to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. Interesting. And is your drone deathless like its namesake? In a matter of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on a disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process, I must confess. It was really quite ingenious, but alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Koshe will become as deathless as the stories claim. But it will not be today. Got some interesting machinery in there. Not time you'd see outside of corporate settings. The same that could be said of many in Haoi, I'm sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you out of curiosity? Robotic arms you've got over there look like something out of an automotive assembly plant. His smile flashes brilliantly in the light. Good guess, that's precisely what they are. They fell off a boat, you might say. They weren't cheap, but I acquired them and had them mounted to the walls of my shop. I simply had to have them. The return on investment has been dramatic. Yes, they're cruder by far than the Waldo devices that I use in my professional life, but they still do the job and they are mine. He gazes lovingly at the industrial arm, still smiling. They've increased my fabrication capabilities nearly tenfold, and that, to me, is worth any price. Whose payroll were you on? He sighs. That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you see. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I would tell you that I worked for Grisham Aviacor, but you'll forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. Alright, keeping all this machinery running can't be cheap. How do you afford it? Freelance. At the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There was corporations in need of design consultations. There are always corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprised by how lucrative such work can be. And there was always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. Oh yeah, what other work? He pauses, and for a second something flashes in his eye. Koshi lowers his body into a crouch. A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe, but then we're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are, but even in personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit side of the spectrum. Tell you what, I'm just gonna guess. You're a Shadowrunner, aren't you? He gives you a shallow nod. I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? Your drone. He shakes his head slightly, a sad look in his face. Such a reductive assessment, I assure you. You're selling my little counterpart quite short. Koshi is combat capable, very much so, but that's far from his only purpose. Koshi scuttles forward, his glowing red eyes low to the ground. Light glints off the metal of its armored chassis. Raktor runs a hand over the drone's killing legs, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. That being said, I cannot deny that Koshi's aptitude for butchery is important to my work. Should you ever get the opportunity to see him in action, you will understand why. Seems like everybody on this boat runs the shadows. Why not pool our resources and work together? He purses his lips, considering a compelling offer. I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me, and I'm not a decker. Weird. My strength comes from material objects in the real world, solid things with mass and heft, things that I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that can display a mastery over the intangible. This group of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps we can help each other out. How can you not already know that? You live right beneath our feet. Have you ever rented a coffin apartment in a big city? Did you know all of your neighbors by name? My situation here is much the same. I keep to myself, and your friends don't come to the end of the engine room. The only connection we share is that we all live in this wreck by kindly Chen's largesse. Obviously, there were things I could intuit about your friends from my time here. I guess that they were Shadowrunners. Their behavior fits the profile, but we haven't had any real contact with one another until now. So I ask you again, does your team makeup cover the bases that I described? Okay, he wants a shaman and a decker. He hasn't asked anything about Duncan, and I don't want to volunteer Duncan's name to this guy either. So it seems enough to just mention the shaman and decker. In that case, I'll accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, it will continue. If not, I will bid you my farewell and go back to working alone. How does that sound? Welcome aboard. Very good, excellent. When you receive a job, you'll know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. With that, I'm afraid I must bid you a good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. I'll be in touch, looking forward to working with you. And I with you. And that's how you acquire a decker. What happens if I go out this door? Does he yell at me? Do I get ganked? This is his room. I should not be in his room. That's a little rude. I will go do this instead. Objective complete. Activate the mission computer. Wow, that only took 2.5 hours. I learned so much about this area. Mecha Kuga asks me specifically, how much is this game like original Fallout? I don't know, never played the original Fallout. Someday I might. Kind of keen to, the whole, like, you know, isometric thing. I'm kind of keen to. Your workstation mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 6 unread messages. New messages. Welcome to Heoi. From Kindly Chang. Welcome to Heoi Beach. On behalf of your friends at the Heoi Chamber of Commerce and the Swiftwinds Mahjong Parlor, welcome to the community of Heoi to our new business venture. Lined up 3 jobs for you, details of which are contained in a separate computer message. Remember to check your messages often to update you new opportunities as they occur. Auntie Cheng. Your mission computer. Hey Beej. Hey Beej. I've set up the mission computer to automatically collect and collate news reports, information in the media that might be of interest to you. Some of the keywords I've got trolling for are things like Raymond, Duncan, Walled City, etc. This is from Isabel, by the way. I've also patched in a permanent link to the Hong Kong Shard of the Shadowlands BBS. It's a great place to connect with other runners, sell pay data, get news from the street, and so on. Don't be shy about taking a look. Isabel. Resources from Bao Zhijun. Bao Jianjun. Jianjun. Bao Jianjun. I have been instructed to inform you of the various suppliers present in Heoi. Auntie Cheng has cultivated a commercial district of well-stocked and trustworthy vendors. Whoever you choose to do business with, you'll be in good hands. Ermin's where I get weapons. Magical supplies, probably five phases. Adept, Spider Shen, close quarter weapons. Chrome Alley is where I get cybernetic enhancements. So we can talk to Tamar and Ambrose. I'm summarizing here because I've already know all this now. Drones, I go to Reliable Matthew. Lost Techno Palace is where I get decking stuff. Best of luck in the shadows is fresh meat you're likely to need at Strangler Bow. Thank you, Strangler Bow. Serial Killer from Kindly Chang. I've got a problem, Beej, and you're going to help me solve it. I do a lot of business with the Wampoans. If you're not familiar with the term, I forgive you. You're an outsider after all. The Wampoans are a tribe of techno-fetishes and deckers who've taken up residence in the Whampoa Garden area of Hong Kong. They make and trade high-tech goods to people from all over the world. A lot of Nuyen passes through their pasty little fingers, and I make a lot of money brokering deals between them and the smugglers here in Heoi. I've hit a snag, though. The Wampoan elders, their council leaders, are being eliminated by a serial killer. Ugh. They've asked me to dispatch someone to get to the bottom of it and stop the killings, and they're not taking their goods through my turf until I do. So now you're going to be my proxy, dear. I don't care how you do it, but I need those murders stopped. The Wampoan's a delegate here in Heoi, the name of Maximum Law. Speak of him if you wish to know about Whampoa. He's got a big mouth, but he knows very little of importance. Don't expect much from that half-empty bottle of vinegar. You get your ass down to Whampoa Garden and talk to the elders. Lie, cheat, steal if you have to, as long as they're convinced me there won't be any more murders. I want my cut back and I want soon. Artifact Liberation. From Kindly Chang. Welcome to the Shadows, Beej. I received a request from an archaeologist named Mr. Drake. He's interested in liberating certain artifacts from the beneath the manor house located in Tai Po. Attached a copy of the video message that he sent me. Mr. Drake. Screen flickers a few times, then yell. Is replaced with the face of a stern-looking orc. Hello, Madam Chang. I've heard that you're a woman who knows how to get things done, especially with regards to that are not legal in the strictest sense. That's the kind of help I'm looking for. Recently, a rich investor by the name of Liu Hua decided to expand his manor house in the outskirts of Tai Po. Too much money, not enough space for fancy parties. He hit a snag with local government officials, however. They suspected the land his estate was built on may have pre-modern archaeological artifacts buried beneath it, and all of them dating from the Song Dynasty. Consequently, I was contracted as an archaeologist to oversee the excavations and ensure everything was properly recorded and cataloged. Okay. Sure enough, we were only a few days into the excavation when we discovered a series of tombs lying beneath the site. The scope of the tombs was far beyond anything Liu or I had expected. Several acres of catacombs, at least, and untouched relics throughout. What's more, they're certainly older than the Song Dynasty. They may even be from the previous cycle of magic. Before I could make my report to the Free Enterprise Zone authorities, however, Liu called in his allies in Tantian Incorporated. Liu sold the entire site to Tantian, who then leased it back to him. Because Tantian is considered to extraterritoriality in Hong Kong, local authorities were powerless to stop Liu from looting the tombs. He immediately began building a museum, if you can call it that, atop the site. He had the gall to call his museum the Emperor's Tomb. Can you believe that? The odds of there being an actual emperor buried there are basically nil, but he doesn't care anything to sell a few tickets. I do mind even minor spoilers, because I do want to try to just go through this as best I can. I'm going to end up taking all the jobs. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to take all the jobs, unless by taking a job in a certain order that prevents me from taking all the jobs, or by taking a job, then it locks me into doing giving up on other jobs. So, despoiler, I can see your chat. So, knowing if something, if an action like taking a job is going to lock something off, that's kind of nice to know. I don't want to know exactly how unless I ask specifically. Otherwise, I'd be playing this with a walkthrough. What I guess what I want to know is it's like, hey, you've got 3 jobs right now. If you take one of them, you'll give up the other 2. And then be like, okay, then I'll be careful. But if it's like, there's all of one of those in this game, that's fine. So if that time comes up, it's kind of just nice to know. Yeah. Yeah, no spoilers. I don't want to be gated out of doing stuff. That's cool. Thank you very much. Oh, it's not likely to be an issue, Aquinas says. That's helpful as well, too. Can I take a brief break while I need something to briefly eat? Just hang on a second. Commercial time for like about a minute. Have a brief drink here. It was funny. I was like, I had to eat a little something because I just like felt myself flagging a bit. And I was like, wow. So I got up and I grabbed a peanut butter cookie. Girl Guide. I guess Girl Scout cookie. Girl Guides in Canada. Girl Scouts in the States. Still the same organization. We just call them Girl Guides up here. And it's just like, cookie. Jump, 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 jump. I'm like, oh, that's going to stick a bit. Okay, well, that's fine. And then my body was like, have another. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so I had another one. I was like, that'll be enough. And then at that point, I'm chewing and whatnot. And it's like, my body's like, have more. You need food. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Ugh. So anyway, I just, yeah. I didn't eat more. I had a few Jaffas because somebody sent us a bag full of Jaffas, and I was like, Jaffas are a thing that I can eat a few of, and then be like, that'll be such a huge sugar hit so fast that it'll be like, there, your body can process that for the next 20-25 minutes or whatever. Isn't that great? And I'm like, yeah, I'll just do that. And then I can go. I had a salad that probably weighed a pound today. Like, I had a lot of salad at home, and cucumbers and tomatoes and carrots and lettuce and crispy onion things that I found at the store that are really good, and then French dressing, because I really like the nuclear orange French dressing. Don't worry, I am, despite how I look, I try to eat as well as I can. I will still eat pasta and shit, but I eat a lot of high fiber pasta in an effort to combat a lot of that. Hey, here's an interesting beach fact that probably you guys don't give a shit about. Genetically, I have high cholesterol. That's just how I am. I don't make enough HDL to counteract my LDL, so that's even more of a narrow win when it comes to cholesterol. We're not talking about triglycerides. That's fine. My LDL is a little higher than it should be. My HDL is much lower than it should be. So ever since I was 20 and having chest pains, I had to change an awful lot about how I ate. That was exciting. To go into your doctor and say, why does my chest hurt so much? And it's like, oh, what's your diet like? Holy shit, that's awful. Maybe we'll get you a blood test. No, I'm fine. Don't get a blood test. Comes back, is like, neat. If you don't fix that, you're gonna have a heart attack by the time you're 30. And I didn't, because I fixed it. But as I discovered, diet alone did not do the job, and now I'm just in a place where it's like, I have to accept that's how my body is. It's how it's always been. My mother's the same. She has the same problem I do. It's just like, I just have to eat better than I have ever eaten. I got to cut down on potatoes, got to cut down on deep fried stuff. I got to cut down on like if I'm going to eat pasta, it's got to be pasta that has like a lot of nutrition to it somehow. So it makes it worth it. Try to up my proteins and fat consumption, take my carb stuff down, but yeah. I mean, it's good that boy oh boy do I like salads. So at least when I go have like a hamburger or something and I get a salad on the side, it's like, that's real good. If the salad's good, then I'm happy. So yeah. Anyway, back to the game. Mr. Drake continues. Liu has continued his excavations using Tantian contractors to expand the dig. What he didn't know is that I bugged his comlink before he fired me. Based on what I've heard, something strange is going on in the lower levels. Workers have been disappearing only to be found dead several days later. Whatever's down there is too dangerous to be left in Liu's hands. I like that also it pivoted. It's like, I got an email, or I got a message from this dude. I'm emailing you some, you know what, fuck it, just watch the video. I'm not going to write all this out again for you. And I like that they did this as like, we're going to give you a sense of who this guy is, because probably who I'm going to end up talking to if I take I'm going to take the job. Liu must have found my data line tap, though. I stopped receiving any information 3 days ago. The last thing I heard him talking about were apparent ancient texts that workers had discovered. Then he issued an order that further excavation should be halted until he can secure the subterranean areas. Admitting those texts are the cause of whatever's killing the workers. I have quite a bit of experience with these kinds of dangerous excavations, but an operation of this scale is beyond me. I need a team that's tough enough to get in and survive, aren't afraid of making a mess, and who can get out with the books and whatever else they can carry. Oh yeah. Neat. Beyond the 2 texts, I'm willing to pay very well for whatever other artifacts your team can liberate. The more valuable, the better. Don't worry, they'll be going to actual museums, not some rich Playboy's mansion. I've got a second program in place that'll suppress Liu's security system. The team will have to be careful, though. There are only so many alarms I can suppress. Go beyond that number and I'll scrub the mission. Oh, interesting. I've included a catalog of likely items to help the team appraise the most valuable ones. They don't need to be subtle. In fact, I prefer they make it look like a common robbery. Tell them to smash and grab what they can. Let me know when you find a suitable group of Shadowrunners. There you have it, a nice simple robbery. Do you think you can handle something like that? Basic, dear? Something that basic? I have faith in you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. I'll contact Mr. Drake when you're on your way. I continue to read. Geomantic sabotage. That seems interesting. Another one from Kindly. Geomancy's big business in the free enterprise zone. Here in Hong Kong, feng shui isn't just the act of rearranging your kitchen to make things look pretty. The fortunes of empires rise and fall with the ebb and flow of qi, and sometimes that flow needs a helping hand. Wujing Incorporated are the preeminent practitioners of large-scale qi manipulation here in the free enterprise zone. They have gone to great lengths to channel qi from all over Hong Kong into their headquarters, an enormous monstrosity that they call the Wuxing Sky Tower. There it is focused and transformed into good fortune through the building's geomantically attuned architecture and interior decoration. Our client believes that it's time for Wuxing's good luck to run out. You're to infiltrate the Sky Tower, great, infiltrate a corp, and disrupt the flow of qi throughout the building, but you're to do so in 2 distinct fashions. First, you must disrupt the feng shui of the offices by subtly altering the environment of that level. This will consist of minor adjustments of desks, spilled water, and other small activities that are unlikely to be noticed. Ordinarily, even subtle disturbances in nature would be noticed. This is why the client wishes you to make a much louder demonstration on the rooftop garden. The garden is to be ransacked, utterly destroyed, set fire to things, uproot trees, that kind of thing. Our client has also specified that he would like you to destroy the large Buddhist statue in the garden. Jesus. Smash that thing to bits and leave them scattered across the rooftop. This level of destruction will likely keep Wuxing's geomancers busy long enough the more subtle disruptions below will take effect. And in addition, it will send the kind of message our client would like Wuxing to hear. Whoa! I did a thing I didn't want to do. I have utmost faith in your ability to cause destruction. The more disruption you can cause on both levels of the Sky Tower, the happier the client will be. Given your own skills in magic, you should have an easy time identifying the most effective ways to disrupt the qi of the building. Go back. Open the jobs directory. Jobs main, view all pending jobs. I got these 3. Cool. It's weird because I could just say, that'll do it for the stream. Or I could just take something and then you'd all have to sit being like, we have to wait to see because he's made his decision and it's what we're doing. So I could just straight up save it, or I could take one right now and do it. And God, the artifact liberation sounds so fun. Back to root. Let's look at the BBS. All right. Spoofing 1. Group info, null, and anon. That sounds great. Search BBS for relevant keywords. Missed connections. You rappelling down the side of an unnamed luxury hotel in Balkan Monday night. Me admiring the view from the 28th floor. Urinals during a private soiree for an unnamed corporation that I was infiltrating. Our eyes met briefly before you dropped out of sight. Your long dark hair had come loose from your chignon, framing your beautiful flushed face. I will never forget it. You were carrying a duffel bag bulging with stolen prototype weaponry. Well, I filched the intel that goes with it. Can we connect? That's so cute. Very funny, Blackjack. I'm sorry the job went sideways. I got trapped in only one way out. Supposed to have each other's backs. Just wait till you hear the way out I had to take. I'll lay low for now. Why are we posting about this in a public message board? Yeah. Terrorists in Hong Kong. Been hearing about some buzz. About some mainlander terrorists that showed in Victoria Harbour and had a shootout with the HKPF the other night. Anyone hear anything about that? Ming Pao said there was 4 of them that got away. 1 elf, 2 orcs, and a dwarf. A troll, an elf, and a human were all killed on the scene. Word is the members of the White Star out of Henan coming here to start trouble against the Executive Council. I like this, that it's like, it's clearly, it's like, we know we have to slot in the part where it says 1 elf. It's like, okay, so, but what if I picked orc? What if it said 3 orcs and a dwarf? Like, it has to actually figure that out. Because if it says 1 orc, 2 orcs, and a dwarf, that would be a weird thing to say. So, I like that it feels real, but it could have changed in any subtle number of ways. Looks like there's a 50,000 Nuyen capture for any information leading to their capture. 50,000 reward for their capture. Okay. HKPF seems pretty nervous about letting these bastards walk freely around the streets. You'd think they'd actually pay out to somebody like us. Not a chance. You walk in there to claim your reward, you're getting thrown in a hole with them. HKPF doesn't keep promises to the sinless. Couldn't hurt to try. Why'd you have to be such a downer? Yeah, try. Because I know the police. They're all dirty. They're only in it to protect their paychecks. They don't give a damn about anyone else. Believe me, I'm just looking out for your best interests. Like you and your triad looked out for my brother. You know he's still paying for his reconstructive surgery, you bastard. If a man wants to keep his teeth, he should pay what he owes rather than pull a gun on me. Simple as that. No more posts. Poetry Slam! Ladies and gentlemen, poets and Shadowrunners, welcome to the first annual Shadowland Poetry Slam. There are no rules and no prizes except bragging rights. Without further ado, let the versification begin. How long do you think we can keep this going before the trolls show up on the sysadmin to shut us down? Why would they shut us down? We're free board. We can be poetic if we want to. Just trust me, it happens. For some reason, these things always draw the worst sort of attention. Just give us a poem, you're going to sit here and complain about why you can't. Already got one. Wait for it. Synth Muscle, Smart Links, Neural Booster, Cyber Lens. All fall to grenades. Musing on the transient life in the shadow. Very nice, sir. When the long shadows fall on Hong Kong, neon lights pierce the coming night. Tread with me the velvet blackness. Let no lamp shine on our deeds. That's the one's entitled Our Hour. That must be the most pompous thing I've ever read. Try this on for size. Lasers are red, shadows are black. With Matt on the street, you best watch your back. Now you're Matt. It wasn't pompous, you uncultivated rube. It was an homage to Wang Wei, the famous Tang Dynasty master of the Jueju form of poetry. It's traditional, like that ridiculous limerick that you posted by Tennyson. I like that. I don't think you have to take the word slam quite so literally. Hey, you people know the rules. Poetry slams have been out of bounds on this BBS since the Laughing Man debacle of 55. If you want to sling your fancy words, do it in a different form. I'm shutting this thread down. And thanks, Sisop. Told you. Walled City. Oh, yeah. Got a counter job this week that's supposed to take me to the Walled City. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, and I've never been to Hong Kong, but I hear that place is dangerous as hell. Is there anything I should know? Oh, I've got nothing to worry about. It's just a low-cost housing development full of hardworking people. Here, have a take a look at this news report. This is Sunny Chung with Horizon News. On today's Sunny Side Up, the Kowloon Walled City, a blight on the free enterprise zone or low-cost housing for the economically disadvantaged. We'll introduce you to some hardworking residents, how they live, and how they contribute to the growth and prosperity of our city. Montage sequence begins, showcasing the destitute poor of the Walled City going about their daily lives. The shot's been carefully chosen, showing only smiling, productive residents, a stark contrast to your own experience inside it, I bet. Many residents of Hong Kong regard the Walled City as a place of no return. To outsiders, it's the last stop on the long road to homelessness. Rumors abound of feral ghouls, unsafe living conditions, and triad extortion. Yet when we went there, the reality was far different. What we saw will shock you. Citizens of Hong Kong working and living just like the rest of us. The apartments are smaller and the shops more modest, but the people who live here wouldn't be out of place anywhere in the free enterprise zone. Citizens like shoemaker Chow Sang-tsui. The scene cuts to an elderly man in a closet-sized stall filled with shoemaking equipment. He smiles broadly at the camera. Oh, I love it here. We have a community, you know? We're like family. Maybe we don't have as nice a view as they do in Repulse Bay, But I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's not paradise, no, but it's my home. I grew up here. How could I possibly leave? Camera shifts back to Sunny Chung, who now stands in front of one of the entrances to Walled City. Contrary to the popular opinion, the Walled City serves a vital function. The poor and downtrodden find a home in the Walled City, a community where they have a voice, can work, and even prosper. Far from being the eyesore that the video suddenly stutters, freezes, and ends. Okay, I've decided to cut the rest of that crap. She keeps going on about what a good place the Walled City is and how we all need it. Don't buy any of it. May not be hell, but you can see it from there. Freedom Cowboy's just trying to get you in trouble. Ah, thanks, Isabel. So how do you know the real story? Because I grew up there. You know what it's really like? It's eating old broth made from rat bones because there's nothing else. It's watching your neighbor sell their 5-year-old son to organ leggers so they don't starve to death. When you die in the Walled City, your neighbors cheer because they'll get the clothes off your back. I wouldn't wish the Walled City on my worst enemy. No more posts in this thread. I have no pay data. Okay. We're going to save. And next time, I am going to... Actually, I'm going to do a hard save. We're going to hard save. And I'll create a new save, because why not? And next time, I will take one of those 3. I really like the artifact thing, but I also like that whole idea of, hey, let's go effing up feng shui, because that sounds fun too. The artifact thing seems fun because I like the whole thing of like there's something mysterious going on down there, and I'm like, ooh, if it's tombs, there could be spirits, and we have shaman, and that sounds like fun. And if the messing up feng shui really feels like a good, you're going to a corp, which means rigging is probably an option there because they'll have like vents and they'll have all sorts of other stuff, and that, you know, pull a Ractor in on that, pull a Decker in on that as well. That could be really interesting. The serial killer thing seems more like just a straight up get to this place, and, you know, do the whatever. I'm worried that because I pulled shaman that I'm going to spend less time doing this than I guess now I have Ractor at my disposal. I could actually choose his thing if I wanted to as well, couldn't I? I can't. He just has... That's Duncan. There's Ractor. Oh, movement speed sounds really good. Being able to get around faster versus just a 5... I mean, that 5% accuracy boost could really help too, but I really feel like that's the way to go. Be able to move more. There's always those things where you're like, I wish I could get behind a thing. I wish I could hide. I wish I could get out in front. I wish I could get through the whole thing. It's like, yeah, I feel like I'd take Mangler for this. That sounds great. And that would mean everyone has now been allocated a thing. We can exit that. Now I'll do the hard save, because that's when you're supposed to do that. There we go. We will decide a mission, and when we come in next time, we will take that mission and we will go do it, and it will be great, and you guys will have a great time, and I'll have a great time too. And so thank you for joining me on Play It Forward. I'm going to jump out of here back to the main screen, because I also think that we did save, so it's fine. Because I like this music too, and I think we should be able to enjoy that. So let's go over a few things about... God, I almost said Beach's backlog. About Play It Forward. Play It Forward, the long play stream for us. That's so weird. Look at what happened. It went off the side of the screen for some reason. It's fine. I'll figure it out. The long play stream happening here on twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun, the wonderful Loading Ready Run video entertainment network. Up next on Monday is Ben is going to be playing some MTG Arena because of the Core 2020 preview streamer event. So please check that out. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, an early issue of that, I guess. Then there will be Dice Friends. Cameron is back with everybody else to play more After the Flood. That was a lot of fun being on the last one, just off screen. I hope that everyone's having a great time enjoying that. I thought there's some really interesting stuff coming up. I guess that's session 5. And then, of course, after that, from 8 till 11, Jesus, I will be in here late night playing more Shadowrun Hong Kong. It's going to be Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays for me. I don't plan on doing more than that. But yeah, I really think that's going to be a lot of fun to continue doing that. Let's come back to Boof. There's Boof. And I want to thank everybody who supports us by backing us on Patreon, because when you back us on Patreon, you can you help us put food in the many employees of Loading Ready Run's mouths. Because it isn't just like 2 or 3 of us here. There's like 13 or 14 of us or 15 of us. I'm not entirely certain, but you're making that possible. Over 2,400 patrons now on the Patreon, and you guys are helping us out to the tune of $14,250 a month. And that's a big deal. Renting a big moon base and, you know, having space to do all this stuff and paying for electricity and paying for... Oh, we finally got fiber, and fiber's just finally just so nice to have. It's so much more reliable and nice. Anyway, let's welcome, though, the other people who make this possible. It's you, the Twitch TV subs, and bitters, the bitters. Yes, the bitters are the most important part of the drink. By kicking in bits to us, we really appreciate that. Let's go through it here. Iced Sly was the last one that I see that showed up here, because I'm looking back over these. Wazer 3000, that was Necrodancer. So yeah, Iced Sly are subscribing for 30 months. Welcome back. Elaro56 for 25 months. Hey, 25 months is like a quarter of a decade, right? Yeah. Distortion in Space and Time, subscribed for 29 months. Welcome back. Simmer CJ cheered with 200 bits. Happy last day of Pride. Yes. It is the final day of June, but let that Pride go year-wide. Gundragon NZ subscribed for 27 months. Welcome back, Gundragon. Wonderful Glory subscribing for 47 months. Hey, Beach, great seeing you at Magic Fest. Oh, thank you, Wonderful Glory. I don't know exactly who you were, if I got your name or not, but it was nice meeting everybody at Magic Fest, so I assume it was nice meeting you as well. Neocon subscribed for 30 months. It would be better if you read all the characters with different accents, wouldn't it? Don't hold your breath. Lord of Elves subscribing for 4 months. Welcome back. Aurelian2773 subscribed for 31 months. Just popping in to say I love this game and look forward to watching you, Beach, your way through it. Sadly, I'm a little behind, so I'll go back to yesterday's VOD. Hecklehide subscribed for 8 months. Welcome back. Strategium just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you use the Strategium. Mnemonic Man subscribed for 15 months. Sub Baby extended compilation time. Sorry. Why? Because the Beach commands it. Thank you, Mnemonic Man. Black Blade subscribed for 7 months. Shadow Beach or Beach Run. I can't decide which I like better. Whale Plaid cheering with 200 bits and those pride flags. Thank you, Whale Plaid. Brindle Boar subscribing for 16 months. Welcome back, Brindle Boar. Dumbo 3K subscribing for 20 months, saying woo. Jelky Mantis subscribing for 35 months. Golly, 35 months. That's a bunch of things, including a number divisible by 6. Sure. Peter 200X. Probably just Peter 2009. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Subscribe for 35 months. Cyberpunking going well? Well enough. Talos 2912 subscribe for 32 months. Welcome back. And Robocracy Now subscribe for 36 months. Welcome back. That's 3 years. Linatura subscribe for 24 months. 2 years. Time flies when you're having fun. Welcome back. Dormar subscribe for 10 months. And Bannery also cheered with 100 bits. 100 bits because these interactions make me giggle. I'm glad. Fun Size Cyclops subscribing for 10 months, just coming in. I hope Shadowrun Hong Kong lives up to all Neon and Chrome dreams. I hope so too. Jim Sinor cheered with 100 bits. Now I love Shadowrun and I love Hong Kong. I adore Shadowrun Hong Kong, but hear me out. Why not Shadowrun? Jiritsu just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, Jiritsu. Megs Harty cheering with 500 bits, with 500 quick drive-by bits. Thank you there, Megs Harty. And the Alan Heffley just subscribed for 36 months. That's your big 3-year anniversary. Welcome back, Alan. And thank you, everybody, for subscribing and for da bits. Oh, and Mapete subscribing for 2 months. Hello, world. Welcome back, Mapete. Glad to have you. Glad you came back and decided to spend your Twitch Prime subs here. Remember, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have a potential Twitch Prime sub. And you can spend that here if you like. You can spend it on anybody else's channel if you like too. But you know, we like it when you give us a bit of Jeff Bezos' money. That feels pretty good. Oh, Julia Mons says the message that didn't come through all the way here. Why not Shadowrun Ho Chi Minh City? Ho Chi Minh City. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please tune in tomorrow for more Loading Ready Run, like I said, and you'll hear me tomorrow at 8 p.m., a little later than normal, or not normal, that's the normal now for Monday. It'll be a little late night stream, and I don't know if I'll go over too much longer than I would normally, because holy Christ, I don't want to be here so late if I can help it. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.